What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories.
8FC, Chapter 181, All Members Are Sensational. Advertisement. Marine Admiral 181 Chapter. This would be Sha Xing's own pity, and then laughed. I turned out to be the number one. Good fellow. Sha Shing said with a smile, and didn't take it seriously. This is not a ranking of strength, but a ranking of potential. No, even Vegeta did not enter the list, which in itself is difficult to estimate the way the rankings are recognized. I can only say that I am ranked first, indicating that my potential may be really good. But now the whole pirate world is boiling. Yes, it's you. Garp and Golden Lion Shiki, Newgate, Sengoku, the guys around Sha Shing suddenly saw the names on the list. Suddenly exclaimed. Golden Lion Shiki laughed even more, and kept talking. I knew it. The White Lion is not ranked first, it is unreasonable. Newgate is even more frank about who can compare to Sha Shing in terms of potential. A group of revolutionary soldiers watching the battle on the ocean below. Pirates, such as Ace, Marco and others. There are also marine vice admirals such as Momosuke, T-Dolphin, Flying Squirrel, and the soldiers are all excited. Sha Shing has become the pride of pirate world. Among the potential rankings of the four worlds, it ranked first. How many creatures are there in a big world? How many countless generations of evil spirits are there? Looking at the terrifying force of the second place Brawly and the third place Monkey King, you know how terrible it is to surpass their potential. The guys in that world have punched the existence of a planet. I'm was lying on the bottom of the sea, seeing the name of the first Sha Shing, his eyes widened, and another mouthful of blood spurted out of his excitement, with an unbelievable look in his eyes. White Lion, he really has the potential to be the first. Now that he is so strong, what kind of level will he reach in the future? I am murmured, weak. The body is weak, and the heart is even weaker. Quietly, I gave up the idea of going to Sha Shing again when I had a chance. Not to mention the first, even the fourth friend Yabok has already made him lose the confidence to fight. Advertisement. Compared with the cheering and excitement of Pirate World's meal, Naruto World is even more silent. In the whole world, only Uchiha Madara has entered the top 10 list, which is already ranked the lowest in the four worlds. Uchiha Madara is still a powerful threat to their world. This time, the world has completely changed. It's not just that we have to fight Uchiha Madara, but now we have to guard against people in other worlds. The war cannot go on, and the offensive strategy will change. Wang stood together, looking at the ranking list and fell into deep sorrow. None of the last few people have entered the potential list. For the living, no one can match Uchiha Madara, not to mention that Madara has even more terrifying potential. Besides, people in other worlds don't know if they will attack. Uchiha Obito, who was carrying a group of white Zetsu, showed a smile. Madara is already so strong, after Infinite Tsukuyomi, I am afraid that he will have to face other worlds, which is very interesting. And Uchiha Madara frowned deeply, looking at Sha Shing, which was shining like a scorching sun and attracted people's attention. He actually ranked first. In the end, what is so special that he can win the rank of the first potential in the hands of the three worlds? Uchiha Madara's tone was shocked. Just think about it carefully and you can understand the terrible thing about this Sha Shing. Kurosaki Ichigo who slashed out the terrifying black slash. Friends of Yabok, who has the power of omniscience and omnipotence. The stronger the battle, the more powerful it can even destroy the planet, the Monkey King and Brawly of the invincible universe. None of the top 5 ranked first, but this lazy, calm young man sat down with the first potential and suppressed all those terrifying guys. Just talk about potential problems. Uchiha Madara said she didn't believe anything. Even now, this Sha Shing is probably powerful. Uchiha Madara thought, her expression gloomy and silent. On the contrary, we are the weakest. That friend Yabok has the 4th, 5th, 10th, and 3rd places. The world that claims to be a god of destruction has 9th, 8th, 3rd, and 2nd 4 on the list. Although there are only 2 on Wangyang, there is 6th, and there is one Sha Shing who is the 1st. I don't know how scary it is. Advertisement. On the contrary, we are only 7th in this world. Yakushi Kabuto, who is attached to 2nd Mizukage, counts them down. Obviously, after 10, it is no longer important. The ranking on this list may be the trend of the intersection of the four worlds in the future. If it is not strong enough, it will be looked down upon by other worlds. And the potential list is number 1, and the world that this person lives in has soared. Uchiha Madara looked at Yakushi Kabuto, who was talking next to him coldly. That is potential after all. Who knows how long it will take to truly become the number 1 invincible powerhouse, and maybe it can be changed. The most important thing now is to speed up the completion of the plan. Uchiha Madara gritted her teeth and said coldly. Only by completely controlling this world can you have enough strength to touch people in other worlds. On the other side, in the Shinigami world, Yabok looked at Sha Xing's figure with surprise and dread, then looked at everyone in the Dragon Ball world, and then quietly disappeared into the projection and hid. Hurry up and be complete, and gain strength to truly stand on the top of the four worlds, Monkey King, Brawly and Sha Shing. Yabok thought to himself, couldn't help but chant Sha Xing's name in his mouth. Even if you continue to watch it, you won't be exposed to the gaze of the four worlds. As far as possible, of Wang Qian's, it is necessary to dilute everyone's attention to him, but also to guard against it. After all, He can find the seal of the Spirit King as long as he hits the Spirit King Palace, and after absorbing it, he has almost invincible strength. At the same time, Yamamoto and his team are all a sensational valley. How is it possible? How can this guy be the first? Kurosaki Ichigo was dumbfounded, and he couldn't perceive the power of Sha Shing at all in his current situation. I was very curious and surprised looking at Sha Shing, who was lazy and indifferent. He has always been the number one. I thought he couldn't make it. Yamamoto Motoyanagi said in surprise. Staring at Sha Shing, he tried to understand the feeling of oppression he felt against Sha Shing. This guy, in the end, the talent potential is so exaggerated. Aizen Sosuke, who felt that Sha Shing was unusual before, had an unexpected expression on his face. Chapter 182. Can the whole king perceive the white lion? Advertisement. Marine Admiral 182 Chapter. I originally thought that although this Sha Shing has a strong sense of danger, it has never been on the list. It is estimated that it is below 10. Unexpectedly, he would directly become the first place. Aizen Sosuke stood in front of Espada, his eyes fluttered and said. Aizen-sama, it is the best, and it is also the most potential. The four realms are like interconnectedness, and he may not be able to live to the day when he becomes the strongest. After all, the potential is huge and it is also a threat to other worlds. Stark spoke from the side. In his opinion, if it is not strength, it is not certain who will die. That said, but you see, which one of the top 10 on the list is actually weak now, including him. Aizen Sosuke pointed to Uchiha Madara. Especially people in that world, with one punch and starburst, destroying a world is as simple as drinking water. His potential to be ranked number 1, I am afraid it is not easy. Aizen Sosuke remembered Xia Xing's sense of danger, which was the same as that of the destruction god Beerus, and couldn't help but shake. Even if his own world is not just going to attack the Shinigami world now, Kurosaki Ichigo can't move yet, because there is still a terrible guy who ranks 4th in the 680 shadow, Yabok. After hearing what Aizen Sosuke said, Stark thought about it carefully, and he couldn't help but beat up in his heart. None of these people are really weak, let alone the guy with the first potential. I am afraid it is even more unimaginable. Involuntarily, Espada's eyes looking at Sha Shing was also a somewhat shocked guess. It is estimated that the ranking will also introduce the number 1 Sha Shing, we will wait and see. Aizen could only say so in the end. Dragon Ball World. Frieza sat on his high-tech aircraft, eyes shaking. The number 1 position was taken away by people from other worlds. What terrible potential does this kid have? Frieza couldn't understand it. Looking at Sha Shing who was lying lazily, it was even more difficult to understand. The current Sha Shing is completely like an ordinary person, but after Frieza's careful detection, his eyes cannot help but his eyes are confirmed, and his heart is shocked. He felt a strong sense of danger in Sha Shing. How can these methods of concealing breath be the same as Monkey King and others? You can't really discover it without careful cha. Advertisement. Frieza looked ugly, almost careless. At this time, Wukong was also in an uproar. Let me just say, this Sha Shing is definitely not simple, it can make the gods of destruction feel dangerous, how can it not even make the potential rankings? Beerus pointed to Sha Shing on the projection, and said back to Weiss. Weiss also looked at Sha Shing solemnly, not talking to Beerus. Not only the potential is the first, but the current strength is also very strong, I perceive it. The whole king also looked at the projection in the sky, and said to himself like a self-talk, his eyes seemed to be stunned, but in fact, the strength of the whole king was already feeling. I was very curious about the strength of Sha Shing that he couldn't even see. The 12 universes are boundless, and the only ones with a degree are quantity. And all of this is under the control of Quan King, and now through the world's borders, purposeful perception, with the terrifying power of Quan King, has also learned something, and has begun to fall silent. Potential first. I really want to fight him. Sun Wukong clenched his fists with both hands and looked at Sha Shing. The warlike blood of the Saiyan made Wukong a little excited and hard. Your current strength may not necessarily be able to beat him. Beerus couldn't help but hit Wukong at this moment. Why is he in 9th and Monkey King in 3rd? The god of Super Saiyan is nothing more than that. Can't you win? Then I have to practice harder. Wukong didn't think there was anything, on the contrary, he felt that it would be good to surpass himself and challenge a strong enemy. Vegeta held her arms sternly, looked at Sha Shing on the projection, and then stared at the potential rankings in the sky. This guy turned out to be the number 1. So, he is a dignified Saiyan prince, in the 4 big worlds, he can't even enter the top 10. Vegeta became a little angry, staring at the list, thinking about who should be killed first. Kill 1 if you can't make it to the list, then kill 2, kill 3. Vegeta doesn't care about the false name, what he cares about is that as a Saiyan prince, he was even beaten by Frieza, and even Kakarot, who has surpassed his goal in his life, is 3rd, a Saiyan who has been exiled. People and soldiers are 2nd. And he didn't even show his name. Vegeta was thinking about it. Advertisement. Weiss saw the strangeness of the whole king and walked over and fell down. Great king, have you found anything? Wes is curious whether the king has discovered something, or has seen through the first place Sha Shing what is special. Well, Sun Wukong can play against the first place Sha Shing when he participates in the final power conference. The whole king didn't respond. After a while, he recovered to his original state, and turned around and said to the 4 of Weiss, Goku, Beerus, and Vegeta. Hearing the words of Quan Wong, the 4 of them were shocked. Great king, what does this mean? Beerus was a little pity. My Lord Quan meant that the current Monkey King, even your Beerus, is not necessarily an opponent. The tall priest on the left suddenly spoke without emotional fluctuations. The four of them reacted, and immediately looked incredibly shocked. Isn't it possible? Although Lord Beerus ranks a little lower, he can't win with the power of the god of destruction now. Vegeta was also dumbfounded. The cause meeting is the battle on the Kakarot's future screen, right? That is to say, the general state is not good, at least it can be matched by the combined enlightenment or the state of the freely active power. Even Weiss couldn't believe what the whole king meant. Is the number one in the potential list now with this kind of strength? Then in the later stage, wouldn't it be even stronger after the world is connected? Can't even win without a priest. So strong. Great. But Wukong still looks excited about meeting a master. Unfortunately, Sha Shing did not hear the conversation in this scene. Otherwise, even Sha Shing would be directly sluggish. What does it mean that I can only win when I am so strong that I can use the free power of extremely consciousness? I shouldn't be that strong now, right? I don't know, is the system that the whole king perceives in Sha Shing and the soul are integrated, or the attributes hidden in the body? Of course, Sha Shing, who didn't know, had heard the system prompts in his mind. The king of the universe has detected the soul of host and has been intercepted. Chapter 183. Has he never practiced from beginning to end? Advertisement. Marine Admiral 183 Chapter. King of the Universe. Sha Shing originally watched the repercussions of other worlds. As soon as the system prompted it, he immediately understood that King Quan was spying on himself, but was stopped by the system. You don't seem to have great potential, why are you ranked first? Frieza had already sensed the threat, but still couldn't help but talk to Sha Shing, thinking that he might understand a little bit. Frieza, I can't answer what you asked. How do I know why I am ranked first? Sha Shing smiled and answered calmly. What's the joke? I have to ask you, the potential list goes. I'm going to make an appointment with you to sing, Sha Shing. Seeing Frieza talking, Monkey King raised his hand in a funny way, with an excited expression on his face. The Vegeta next to him can't hold him back again. This fool, didn't you hear that Quan Wong said just now that he can at least fight against this Sha Shing in the future and has any hope of victory? Don't fight. Delay me from playing games. Sha Shing knew that Saiyans were all militants, especially Monkey King, and immediately shook his head and refused. Besides, it takes too much time to fight, and it feels that 24 hours a day is not enough if you lie down by yourself. You are the number one in the potential list, don't you want to show your strength in front of the four people in the world? Aizen Sosuke, who didn't intend to speak, also spoke. That's potential, not strength, and I don't bother to play, there is nothing to show off. Sha Shing didn't look interested, and immediately made Whitebeard Newgate, Shiki, Rayleigh and others amused. How can people in other worlds understand the character of the White Lion? It is at this time. The screen began to flash across the potential rankings, and everyone who still wanted to talk was watching the past attentively. I want to see, what's the difference between you? Frieza's eyes were light, and he looked seriously at the three-dimensional picture projected on the scroll-like ranking in the sky. The same is true of other people, concentrating on it. Especially Yim, forced his chi and blood to sit up and looked up at the sky. Advertisement. The pictures of Sha Shing are not only interested in people from other worlds, but even people in the world of pirates are so excited. They watched carefully and looked at it. This ranking will show the future of the people on the list. Where is the potential of the first Sha Shing? Where does it go? The screen starts to play. Sha Shing was discovered and became Marine Admiral, showing unparalleled Conqueror's domineering. When you have a task, it's so troublesome, you just lie in the house if you don't go out. I was looking for pineapple pie to eat again, and then lay down and watched the program broadcast by the TV bug. Either just play the game console and lie down. It's almost the same every day, and I have never practiced at all. If you have to say that you are not playing games and watching TV, Sha Shing is sleeping. Soon, looking at the picture, people in the four worlds are speechless, but they still look at it seriously, and the picture flashes quickly. Soon after, I arrived at Impel Down. The giant dragons Kaido, Big Mom, Red Earl Letterfield, Bullet, Three Plagues and others fought against the White Lion Sha Shing in Impel Down. With all kinds of powerful attacks, Sha Shing put both hands in Kabuto, without even moving, easily blocked their attacks, unscathed. The magical deterrent force formed a physical attack and was easily defeated by a group of people. The picture progressed very quickly. As soon as Impel Down was over, it was immediately reached 5 elders leading the World Government Coalition forces to besiege White Lion Island. One by one, powerful people continued to attack Sha Shing. But it was still intact, his face was indifferent, and in the end he stood still and solved everyone directly with his eyes. Seeing this, everyone in the Naruto world and Shinigami world reacted. Many people have seen the strong people who dealt with Sha Shing, and they are all powerful people. And Sha Shing, the number one on this list, never even moved his hands, just relying on his eyes. Finally came the scene of the battle with Yim. People in other worlds recognized it, and that was the 6th place Yim. At the beginning, Yim made various powerful attacks, and even hid his strength. After becoming stronger twice, his power is like a demon. Even Uchiha Madara and Aizen Sosuke stared. This 6th-placed Yim could break the space and cut out the cracks at that time. Advertisement. This is demonstrated by the incredible strength of the attack. However, it still can't break this Sha Xing's defense to become a golden Buddha. For flowers. Later, Sha Shing moved his hands for the first time, condensing a long knife burning with golden flames, and the whole body was full of golden flames. Everyone in other worlds also understood. The scene where the projection saw Sha Shing just now happened to have just finished the fight with Yim. In the next scene, everyone was a little surprised. Sha Shing started with a simple and rude hand, and broke it directly. It's simple, but it's about to destroy the world, even the sky is cut, and the void is cut. The 6th place Yim even directly lost, even if he was defensive and not cut in half, but he was hit half dead on the spot. He has never cultivated at all. Where does the power of this body come from? No wonder I lay dying in the cut sea at the beginning, and the positions corresponded completely. Very strong. I'm is very strong. Sha Shing is even stronger, almost a crushing victory. From the beginning of the scene, to defeating Yim, the whole time is to cook salted fish. Now, not only Uchiha Madara, Aizen Sosuke, but also Uchiha Yabok saw what it means to become stronger while lying down. The god of destruction, Beerus, looked at Sha Xing's lazy figure, and said in amazement, the cat's eyes opened wide. This is the potential that the picture wants to express. It was abrupt, and the golden light flashed, and the screen introducing Sha Shing was closed directly. Vegeta's pupils were trembling. There are so many people in the world. There are all kinds of people. If this goes on, or if you practice a little bit, wouldn't it be invincible in the 4 worlds soon? 0. Thank you for reading this story at hotmtnovel.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Moreover, it is very difficult to grow up to the strength that can break the boundaries of space in the world where one was born. Even though Beerus had lived for so long, his strength couldn't easily break a crack in the Dragon Ball world. At this moment, the screen unexpectedly ended. And what shocked everyone is that Sha Shing has never practiced actively. It can even be said that it has never practiced. Everyone was a little stunned. The 1st place, Sha Shing, did not predict the future picture. But through these images, the top powerhouses in the world of Dragon Ball, Naruto, and Shinigami also reacted. Other people's hard work, even Master Beerus is no exception. This Sha Shing, lying down, has reached this level of strength. Chapter 184, Leaderboard Rewards Announced. Advertisement. Marine Admiral Chapter 184. Not only has I never practiced, but the time span is also very short. West took a step forward, picked up the magic ball on the scepter, and tried to spy, but in the end he returned to no avail. Everyone was astonished. They didn't expect this Sha Shing to be so talented and infinite in potential. If he is really allowed to grow like this, I am afraid that he will completely surpass everyone soon. Even Wes felt that with infinite potential, it might be possible to reach or even surpass such a great existence as the king. Incredible. Wes felt that this feeling was thrown off in his heart, and some were afraid that he had this idea. With the unveiling of the 1st place on the ranking list, a strange feeling exuded from the 10 names. Up, there has been a change again. Next, the 683 light of the 4 worlds has been attracted to the past again. The ranking list spread out like a picture scroll in the sky gave out a bright golden light, shining on the 4 worlds. 10 people on the list will be rewarded for being on the list. Close black lens bracket. Look, the 10 people on the list are rewarded. People in all 4 worlds exclaimed. Aizen Sosuke, Uchiha Madara and others were surprised. There are even rewards on this potential ranking list. Suddenly, many powerhouses in the 4 worlds were jealous. This abruptly appeared in the sky, running through the 4 worlds, and 10 potential people could be lined up from it. This kind of energy cannot be said to be small, it is simply supernatural power. And among them, what kind of rewards will be given? Suddenly, the people present boiled up. It actually has rewards. The 10 people on the list are about to post. I don't know what kind of reward it will be. It is estimated that no matter how low it is, it must be good. All kinds of discussions sounded, and everyone had a hunch that the rewards given by this ranking might surprise people. And Sha Shing is even more weird. The more it looks like a systematic method, which is also a ranking and a benefit distribution. Soon, the name of Aizen Sosuke flashed above. Potential ranking, 10th place, Aizen Sosuke reward, double the strength. Advertisement. Aizen Sosuke's eyes suddenly widened. When the reward appeared, the body was directly wrapped in a vast force. The white light became brighter and brighter, making Aizen Sosuke feel warm all over. After a while, the white light dissipated. Power is generated from Aizen Sosuke's body out of thin air, and it turns into his own power. Aizen Sosuke couldn't help yelling comfortably at the feeling of power surge. The skyrocketing Reiatsu couldn't be completely controlled at once, and he slammed from his body. A huge roar in the Shinigami world. Yamamoto Motoyanagi and Kyoraku Shunsui quickly retreated a lot, looking at Aizen Sosuke's position with horror. This is also the first time I really feel the power of Aizen Yuyusuke, and the promotion of Reiatsu is simply trembling. Not good. Yamamoto Motoyanagi looked ugly and was shocked. What is this? Aizen Sosuke's strength has skyrocketed, but he is still an enemy. Espada and a group of Manos Grande were close to them, and they were directly lifted by Aizen's Reiatsu, knocking down a lot of buildings uncontrollably. Double potential ranking. What exactly are you? Aizen Sosuke smiled, feeling the explosive power in his body, and slowly controlled Reiatsu, shocked in his heart. And found that the control of Hogyoku has doubled, which is an improvement in all aspects. The more Aizen feels, the more incredible this ranking is. Double your own power out of thin air, and there are no side effects. This is not an ability that ordinary gods can possess. The 10th place can get this kind of strength improvement reward. Then I am 4th. Hidden in the dark red eyes of Yabok were suddenly full of coveting. Everyone in Naruto world, Dragon Ball world, and Pirate world saw the change of Aizen Sosuke in their eyes. Everyone was dumbfounded, unimaginable. Really doubled the strength. Master Quan, is it really possible to double the power out of thin air? Beerus is dumbfounded, the rules of the universe are not so magical, right? It's the same as the wish of the Shenlong, it can directly increase the strength. Monkey King also pointed to the sky in surprise. This scene is a bit like a wish with Shenlong to obtain invincible power. Once, Wukong's enemies did this, but they were defeated by himself. The so-called strength is not invincible. Advertisement. It's different from Shenlong. Even the cosmic dragon cannot achieve the same level of improvement as this ranking. The whole king couldn't understand the source of power, but he could tell the difference between them, and said, there is a big difference in the power of ascension, and Aizen Sosuke's ascension is as if he has completely cultivated and understood it by himself. This is incredible. Weiss, Vegeta and others all looked at them in amazement. Frieza's eyes lit up even more. Will my rewards directly increase my strength? 5 times. 10 times. In the world of Naruto, tens of thousands of ninjas are full of noisy, and their hearts are tense. Improve strength. If Madara's strength skyrocketed again, let alone doubled, we won't be able to handle half of it. All kinds of gnashing teeth in the 5 shadows, the heart is tense. Naruto and Sasuke are even more sweaty, very ugly. Thank you for reading this story at hotmtnovel.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. With the System 0.0 system routine, how can there be only one level of reward, even if a powerful ability is allocated? It is not surprising. Beerus looked at the white light rising from his body and clenched his fists, and immediately felt the looseness of his realm of strength. The name of Beerus, who was ranked 9th, shined. Sha Shing smiled and said to the shocked people. After Aizen Sosuke's name flashed. But from the top-dimensional people like Uchiha Madara, Aizen Sosuke, Yamamoto Motoinagi, and Uchiha Yabok, this one is more heaven-defying. Potential ranking. 9th place, Beerus, reward. The difficulty of training has been doubled. Close black lens bracket. He looked at Yim, who was seriously injured, and then at Sha Shing. People in other worlds saw it in amazement. As predicted. In Naruto world, only Uchiha Madara is on the list. No matter what the reward is, it will make Uchiha Madara more difficult to deal with. Interesting, I am afraid that the next reward is more than just improving the strength. Whitebeard Newgate, Golden Lion Shiki, Garp and others were shocked by the rankings. Double the difficulty of training. This reward does not seem to be directly doubled, and it seems that there is no improvement. The difficulty of training is reduced. After staying for a while, he was surprised and excited. Chapter 185. Cultivation efficiency increased by 10 times. Advertisement. Marine Admiral Chapter 185. Beerus really felt his own changes and was very excited. The whole king seemed to be dumbfounded, but he was actually still paying attention to the changes in Beerus, but he couldn't touch the source of this strange power in the slightest. Master Beerus, congratulations on your improvement. Weiss is the same, but also happy for Beerus to get this reward. The difficulty of cultivation has been reduced by 1 time, is this a big improvement? Sun Wukong didn't understand the effect of heaven-defying at once, and asked. Of course, brat, Beerus said happily. It may not be absent in other people, but it is completely different in Destroyer God. Beerus-sama's strength has reached an extremely powerful level. It is extremely difficult to improve in cultivation, and the difficulty of cultivation is reduced by a factor of 2, and the effect can be imagined. Weiss explained it with a smile. Wukong realized it suddenly and came to understand. The stronger the existence to the limit, the more difficult it is to make progress, just to reduce the difficulty a little is a huge improvement for them. This truth, Uchiha Madara, Aizen Sosuke, 27 Yamamoto Yuanian understands. Regardless of their potential in their own world, their improvement in strength is already extremely small. That's why Aizen Sosuke shocked his doubled strength. He also understood how powerful the god of destruction Beerus was. It seems that it is not only a reward for directly enhancing strength, but this kind of reward is also very tempting. If the power of omniscience and omnipotence can go to the next level. Yabok felt a little excited in his heart. Now there is no doubt that the magic of this potential ranking list can be achieved, it is already incredible enough in itself. Beerus is really even more powerful to get this. Sha Shing also nodded in recognition, put it on the body of the god of destruction, this effect really maximizes its effect. Even on us, the effect is not low. Garp looked enviously too. Regardless of their age, their strength is in their own world, and they are already slow to improve. It takes more effort to make progress. The powerhouses of Golden Lion Shiki, Whitebeard Newgate, Rayleigh, Zephyr, Kong all said the same. It is true. Advertisement. Sha Shing is nothing at this time, these rewards are actually pretty good. My reward will certainly not be too low, after all, he is the first. In my mind, I am more curious about what the world will look like after communication and integration. Both the Naruto world and Shinigami world are okay. The strength of Garp and others is not bad, even slightly stronger. But how should the cosmic dimension of the Dragon Ball world be balanced? After merging in, I can say that I am not afraid, then other people in other worlds will be crushed by all kinds of things. Sha Shing is a little looking forward to the next changes. At this moment, the reward for the 8th place is also revealed. 8th in the potential rankings, Frieza, reward, 500% increase in training efficiency. Frieza regretted all of a sudden. It is not a direct increase in strength, nor a reduction in the difficulty of cultivation. It's training efficiency. Afterwards, Frieza was surprised. The people in the 4 worlds were in an uproar. This is equivalent to practicing at the same time. Frieza can be 500% more efficient than normal. This is more heaven-defying. Yamamoto Motoyanagi looked at Frieza, who was shrouded in white light, with a look of envy. Others are even more envious. Even Aizen Sosuke felt that his doubling of strength was not good anymore. The improvement has been improved, but it is only a temporary leading strength, and the difficulty and efficiency of their cultivation are continuous. They will improve more in the future. Suddenly I am envious of you guys with high potential. You can get such pervert rewards one by one. By Sha Xing's side, everyone began to sigh with emotion. With so much improvement in cultivation efficiency, isn't it a matter of minutes to open the gap with the opponent? Like the pirates and marines below, they have already looked at them very enviously. In the Dragon Ball world, Vegeta gritted her teeth, holding Goku with a strong sense of competition. But there was a deep hatred for Frieza. Now that he has got such a big improvement, Vegeta is very uncomfortable. Advertisement. Even Wukong fell silent a little. The destroyer Beerus squinted his eyes, but his envy was not expressed. It's not bad that the difficulty of my own cultivation has been reduced, but it is suddenly not very fragrant. Frieza laughed loudly, his expression extremely excited. I can see all the pictures of the future just now. After only a few months of hard training, I can fight the Super Blue Goku and Vegeta. But as you get to the back and have a strength bottleneck, your strength will be opened up by the more and more brave Saiyans, but now that you have this ability, everything is different. Coupled with his own talents, it is even possible to surpass Monkey King and pull the distance. This had to make Frieza start to think about it. Everyone in the 4 worlds is envious and jealous. If you get this kind of practice efficiency, how explosive it will be to improve your strength. And the 8th place announced the reward. Uchiha Madara looked extremely cold, but his heart was extremely excited. The 8th place Frieza can get this kind of reward, and the 10th and the 9th have 683 rewards. My 7th place reward must also be heaven-defying. Uchiha Madara's heart was surging, holding his arms and looking at the ranking list that has begun to show the reward potential. Sure enough, the light flashed. The 7th place in the potential rankings, Uchiha Madara, reward, 10-fold increase in training efficiency. Close black lens bracket. Everyone was amazed and looked at Uchiha Madara. The 7th and 8th rewards are the same, but they are twice as strong. The body of impure world reincarnation has no heartbeat. But Uchiha Madara felt that he was enthusiastic and was so pleasantly surprised that he burst into laughter. Hashirama, you will always follow me until you are used far away. Uchiha Madara laughed, feeling the white light on her body. The bizarre power directly affects the soul. As long as oneself is fully resurrected, then 10 times the cultivation efficiency will play an unimaginable effect, and the strength will increase crazy. Black Zetsu, who was far away with Uchiha Obito, both snickered. 10 times the cultivation efficiency. If this is to inherit my mother, let alone the seal, who will be my mother's opponent in the future? Black Zetsu's heart was extremely excited, even more excited than Uchiha Madara. After planning for thousands of years, Uchiha Madara has been completely covered. In the eyes of Black Zetsu, this 10-fold power already belongs to Otsutsuki Kagaya. Chapter 186. Is it useful to increase my potential by 400%? Advertisement. Marine Admiral Chapter 186. Even if the 4 worlds merge, Kagaya will stand at the top. Black Zetsu's eyes revealed excitement and thought to himself. Uchiha Obito's eyes under the mask also changed. There was no emotion, he just looked up. But among the ninja coalition forces is a panic. What are you kidding? Uchiha Madara gets a reward of 10 times the training speed. Are our ninja allied forces doomed to be destroyed? Now it may not be able to deal with Madara. Most of the ninja coalition forces began to feel a little desperate. The leaders Gaara and Naruto were even more bloodless, secretly shocked. Who knows how much stronger Uchiha Madara will be after achieving this effect? It seems that Uchiha Madara must be beaten back to his death realm this time, and he cannot be left here to harm. Reikage and Tsuchikage spoke with ugly expressions. In case Uchiha Madara has any means to completely resurrect, then his momentum will be unstoppable, and the entire world under infinite Tsukuyomi will be controlled by him. At the same time in other worlds, everyone was even more amazed. A reward is more pervert than a reward. 10 times the cultivation efficiency, this is not equal to 10 times the cultivation speed. 1 year of cultivation is equivalent to 10 years of cultivation. This is only the 7th prize. Yamamoto Motoyanagi touched his beard and said bitterly. Such good things won't fall to his own head. Whether it is to reduce the difficulty of cultivation or increase the speed of cultivation, you can make yourself progress by leaps and bounds, and no longer fear the threats of friends Yabok and Aizen Sosuke. On the contrary, it is them who can get rewards on the list. Fortunately, Kurosaki Ichigo also occupies a place in the potential of the 4 worlds. Yamamoto Motoyanagi sighed and glanced at Kurosaki Ichigo, who was throbbing with anticipation. Ranked 5th, it should be no worse. On the contrary, the god of destruction, Beerus, did not change much in the face of this kind of training efficiency reward. After all, reducing the difficulty of cultivation and the efficiency of cultivation are completely two concepts. At the level of the destroyer god, even a 20-fold cultivation efficiency can't make much difference. The bottleneck is there, and no matter how fast it is, it will be difficult to break through. But reducing the difficulty is what is most needed for Ruth. Advertisement. Neither Goku nor Whis has changed much, and Vegeta is also expressionless with his eyes closed. Frieza on another planet did jump. The 7th and my 8th are so much worse. Damn it. Frieza was unhappy, and the entire planet was trembling and the volcano erupted when the momentum erupted. Immediately afterwards, the 6th place also began to appear. The people in Pirate World looked at the past one after another, one or two very serious. Whitebeard Newgate and Golden Lion Shiki, Pluton Rayleigh, Zephyr, Kuzan, these people are very dignified and a little nervous. Because the 6th place is Celestial Dragon's I'm. No one wants I'm to get more heaven-defying rewards. Sha Shing glanced at the trench below with a smile, but did not speak. Yim under the trench finally leaned against the wet rock, looking forward to the potential list in the sky with anticipation and excitement. The last 4 received incredible rewards and blessings. My 6th place shouldn't be too bad, right? Thinking about it, Im couldn't get excited anymore. I'm 6th, and Sha Shing is still number 1. I'm afraid I don't even have Sha Xing's 1st place, heaven-defying, what's so happy about? However, in the sky, the reward came out. 6th in the potential rankings, Yim, reward, current potential is increased by 400%. Close black lens bracket. Puff. After finally lying up, Yim's body sprayed out old blood on the spot and fell down. Single quote exclamation mark. Quote. After opening his mouth, he was completely speechless. Injustice, injustice. My 6th place is just to improve my potential. But how far can someone who has increased their potential by 400% get closer to Sha Shing? Is this a gap that 400% can make up for? I broke down, crying without tears. The potential is not the same as the current strength. It took 800 years of hard work to reach this level. Look at Sha Shing again. After lying down for a year, I don't know how much I surpassed myself. Is 4 times useful? 100 times is about the same. Everyone in Pirate World looked weird at this time. The Revolutionary Army, the Pirates of New World, the Marine Vice Admiral and the soldiers were prepared that Im might counterattack, and the psychological preparations that amazed the audience suddenly vanished. Advertisement. The heart is full of weird meanings to Yim, and everyone knows how big the potential gap between Sha Shing and Yim is. And the potential list actually rewards the potential to increase by 400%. What's the use of this? No amount of it can make up the gap. This god, Lord Yim, I'm afraid my heart is dead. Zephyr and the others looked into the trench below, and said pitifully. This means that many injustices will kill themselves. Isn't Yim doing less breaking things? Just indulging those celestial dragons to do whatever they want as the world's inadmissible. Golden Lion Shiki laughed loudly. He is a bad person, but he is not more than half of Yim's inhumanity. Even Sha Shing was so happy, the heart that originally wanted to get rid of Yim faded. It is different from the quirky meaning of Pirate World. People in other worlds don't know too much about I'm, but they are a little envious. Especially those who have not logged into the leaderboard. Yim has increased his potential 4 times, that means his limit will be 4 times stronger in the future. Aizen, so Wang Qian is good, Yusuke also said to the espadas who flew back around. In the Dragon Ball world, the whole king and the 2 priests watched indifferently, and there was no emotional change in them. Helibel, Grijim and others really envy I'm, whose potential has increased 4-fold, and believe that they may have surpassed Kurosaki Ichigo's potential. After this person recovers, I am afraid that he will hide and practice in retreat. This potential can't be wasted. Improved the potential by at least 4 times. In the ninja world, the ninja coalition around Naruto all discussed. This potential improvement is very good. This guy is already at the 6th potential, and I am afraid that it will be even more powerful and terrifying. Wukong clenched his fist, wishing to rush to the world projection to fight against the powerhouses of these worlds now. One by one thinks that Yim's rewards are not low. Thank you for reading this story at hotmtnovel.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. The same is true for people in the Shinigami world. Beerus, and Vegeta nodded in agreement. Originally, my potential was not better than him. Now it is even more difficult to compare. The future limit of this I'm is terrible. Stark and Espada looked at I'm who was lying enviously, and said one after another. Master Aizen, you see that he was so excited that he vomited blood again. Chapter 187. Strength increased 10 times on the spot. Advertisement. Marine Admiral 187 chapter. It will soon be the reward for 5th place. Yamamoto Motoyanagi, Hiroku Shunsui and others are all looking forward to it. What kind of reward Kurosaki Ichigo will get? Aizen, Sosuke and Yabok looked up and became silent. The 5th place in the potential rankings, Kurosaki Ichigo, reward. The current actual strength is increased 10-fold. Close black lens bracket. In an instant, Kurosaki Ichigo was shrouded in white light, and the body and soul were undergoing unimaginable changes. The strength in the body from all aspects is increasing crazily. The horror Reiatsu couldn't control it even more, and a wave of anger formed and overturned all Shinigami captains such as Yamamoto Motoyanagi, Hiroku Shunsui, etc. The whole earth is moving, and the sky is black. How come? The extremely powerful aura made Aizen, Sosuke, Espada Arankar and others look shocked, and their eyes changed drastically. Strong. Too strong. This boosting power completely surpassed everyone's imagination on Aizen's side. The Shinigami who was lifted off and finally took control of their bodies were all overjoyed, and many of them laughed. Good, good. Strength increased 10 times. Yamamoto Motoyanagi's face full of pleats 683 smiled. The power of Kurosaki Ichigo has risen to an unimaginable height. In addition to the battle scenes seen before, Kurosaki Ichigo has more powerful battle forms. Combined, Aizen Sosuke's Arankar army is no longer a threat. Aizen Sosuke's face was so dark that ink was dripping. Although there is no more, continue to attack the Shinigami world, and fight for a life and death heart. But seeing that Kurosaki Ichigo has directly increased his strength tenfold now, my heart is tense. Kurosaki Ichigo has always been a huge threat, and now he is not completely sure to defeat him in advance. Yukabok can feel the soaring cold pressing power of Kurosaki Ichigo in the palace composed of the Invisible Empire. What a lucky guy. A ruthless color flashed through the dark red eyes of Yukabok. Advertisement. This time, the ability to attack the Shinigami world and seize the power of the Spirit King is even smaller. Frieza, Beerus, Uchiha Madara, those who have been rewarded before, are even more envious and jealous, and their eyes are red. Sharingan, who was already read by Uchiha Madara, turned on Rinnegan mode directly. This kind of reward is the most direct, largest and most practical. The efficiency of cultivation, the difficulty of cultivation, or the increase in potential are all in the future. It is not necessarily whether it can grow to the limit normally, and it will take time, energy, etc. And the current strength increased tenfold, which is equivalent to directly omitting the process of cultivation, and the rest is not just as simple as time. My strength is skyrocketing by 10. No, 5 times. Among the 12 gods of destruction, who will be my opponent? Even if the future Sun Wukong uses the Freedom Extreme Kung Fu, he will not be my opponent. At this moment, Beerus couldn't hold back at all, and looked at Kurosaki Ichigo, who had increased his strength with envy, and thought to himself. Uchiha Madara rubbed his fists tightly, and Rinnegan was full of strange colors. 10-fold improvement. Even in Hashirama's heyday, standing in front of him will be crushed on the spot. This battle is even simpler. Sweep it straight, get the tail beast to control the Kid Obito and directly revive my body. Uchiha Madara has never envied anyone, and at this moment has to admit that he is even jealous. Frieza was even more violent. A huge wave of air directly exploded a nearby planet into cosmic dust, and only then vented a little bit of his depression. 10 times, exactly 10 times. If you fall on your own head, as long as you have a little practice and familiarity, you can even fight against the god of destruction, Beerus. Not only the people on these lists, all the people in the 4 worlds were amazed, and even the whole king became more serious. This 10-fold increase in strength can confirm that this potential list has surpassed all Shenlong. I want to take it down to play. The whole king had thoughts in his heart. He stretched his palm to the potential list in the sky, gestured and squeezed, very curious. Wes was stunned when he heard it. The ability of the potential list to directly increase potential, strength, and cultivation speed is really too pervert, and it is directly 10 times. Cross the universe, cross the border, and even ignore the great power of the king. The question is now that the whole king is very interested, shouldn't it directly destroy this universe and take it down the potential list? That is too fast and scary. Moreover, it is very possible for the whole king's temperament. In the pirate world, the eyes of Yim lying under the trench were about to protrude. All kinds of roars in my heart. Why do I increase my potential? Advertisement. Why didn't the increase in strength fall on my head? At least give me some recovery. If I increase my strength, let alone 10 times, 5 times, 8 times, I can increase it tremendously. Not only should I not be afraid that the event is over, the White Lion Sha Shing will also kill myself, and even on the spot, I can fight Sha Shing again, saying maybe you can beat him directly. Yimu was jealous, Zhongmu, and even the more he thought about it, the more he got angry, and another mouthful of blood came out, and his breath became weaker. Im's reaction. Sha Shing did not pay attention. On the sea, the pirate in the sky, marine, everyone was amazed. White Lion, if you increase tenfold, this world will not be able to carry you. Whitebeard Newgate suddenly turned to Sha Shing and said. When the battle with Im had already broken through the sky. Wouldn't it be a tenfold increase? Everyone also recovered at this time, it's not impossible that this is possible. After all, Sha Shing has never taken a serious shot with all his strength, even the battle with Yim is very casual. If I improve 100-fold, the world will not change. Sha Shing was a little dumbfounded, what are these old guys thinking about? How could the world collapse because of too strong power? The world is the world. No matter how strong we are, only a small part of it will be damaged. It's like a mosquito bite on you. If you say you are envious, what do you think about it? Sha Shing was very happy, and said. Everyone also laughed. I am really envious, even the 5th place can have such a big improvement. How big is the reward for Sha Shing in the 1st place? Although it won't happen to me, it doesn't prevent Whitebeard Newgate, Shiki and others from looking forward to it. The world meets and communicates, and the stronger the strongest in the world, the more advantageous it is. And this time, the potential list continues to show the reward of 4th place. Yabok's heart tightened, and his dark red eyes were full of expectation. Yamamoto and others moved away from Kurosaki Ichigo's promotion and prayed in their hearts. Chapter 188. 10 times the training efficiency plus 10 times the potential. Advertisement. Marine Admiral 188 Chapter. As long as it is not an increase in strength, it is a good thing for the Shinigami world. Because in a short period of time, Kurosaki Ichigo, whose power has skyrocketed, is enough to suppress friends Yabok and Aizen Sosuke, and can even kill them directly. It was like hearing a prayer. The rewards on the potential list also let Yamamoto Yuanian a sigh of relief. Fourth in the potential rankings, Yabok, reward, tenfold increase in savvy. 1. Suddenly, the people of the four worlds were all in an uproar. Although Yamamoto Motoyanagi breathed a sigh of relief, no major crisis would happen right now. But comprehension is a very special key point. Except for Sha Shing and Quan Wang, everyone was taken aback. Comprehension already includes the speed of cultivation and the difficulty of cultivation. For example, if there is an existence such as the god of destruction then Ruth, if you directly increase your understanding by 10 times, you may directly break through the bottleneck and raise your own strength to the next level. Even Beerus has this possibility, let alone other people. Uchiha Madara feels that if he has this kind of insight, I am afraid that he can directly develop Rinnegan's power more deeply, and even reach his limit state and strength in a short time. Frieza doesn't have much understanding of savvy, and it is indeed better to directly improve his strength. Because the promotion of the potential list is comprehensive, and there are no side effects, it is exactly the same as the one in self-cultivation. 10 times the savvy. It's heaven-defying. By the side of Sha Shing, everyone sighed again. The reward of this friend Yabok was not tasteless at all, but it was very scary. That's for sure. That guy himself has the power of omniscience and omnipotence, plus this tenfold increase in understanding. I am afraid that he will explode in strength in a short time. If we have such abilities. Even the awakening of devil fruits abilities can be easily developed. Even the use of Haki can quickly grow to its limit. A group of people including Newgate, Shiki, Rayleigh, Kuzan, Garp and others all discussed in amazement. Sha Shing didn't have any feelings, and he didn't need those comprehensions to gain his own strength. And it doesn't seem to be useful for Yabok to gain understanding, right? Indeed, Sha Shing knows the source of Yabok's power. The current friend Yabok is also completely dumbfounded. Savvy, what is the effect of giving me 100 times? Yabok himself was simply speechless. He is the son of the Spirit King, and he is different from ordinary people. Advertisement. Ability is to split the soul, and with omniscience and omnipotence, comprehension is even more tasteless. How strong he is also depends entirely on his abilities. After opening the eyes, what else is needed? It just needs more powerful energy. The people of the Star Cross Knights directly regretted it. Your Majesty Yabok, this is equivalent to no reward. And then immediately, the potential list is also beginning to appear. Suddenly, everyone became nervous. Both Beerus and Whis opened their eyes and looked at them, and Vegeta's pupils were a little shaken. At the beginning of the reward, everyone is heaven-defying. It's just that some people are not satisfied. Now that the top 3 rewards are announced, everyone is very curious and looks forward to the difference between the top 3 rewards. Monkey King clenched his fists, looking forward to the words flashing out of the potential list. The third place in the potential rankings, Monkey King, reward, tenfold increase in training efficiency and tenfold increase in potential. Close black lens bracket. No, so pervert. The people in the four worlds were suddenly in an uproar. 10 times, or double. The top 3 rewards are too generous. Sun Wukong, who is ranked 3rd in potential, has 10 times the potential and added 10 times the training speed. This is to break the rhythm of the dimensional world. How pervert the introduction screen of Monkey King is so perverted, everyone can see it carefully and clearly. He is already so terrible, how can I catch up with this kind of cultivation speed and potential? Aizen Sosuke felt tight, a little bitter. People in the other world have too much strength and potential to be compared. I even began to suspect that the top 3 and bottom 7 were completely 2 levels. Unify the ninja world as soon as possible. In the future, we do not want to control life and death in the hands of others, we must complete the plan quickly. Uchiha Madara's heart was completely solemn to ultimate, with a solemn expression on her face. With this reward, the Monkey King not only gained 10 times the growth space, but also 10 times the growth rate. Sun Wukong. Flowers 00. Advertisement. Frieza squeezed out the bloodline with his fingers in his palm without knowing it. He gritted his teeth and gurgled. Finally couldn't help it, flew up to wreak havoc on the surrounding planets, and suddenly the entire starry sky was surging. 10 times the training efficiency, 10 times the potential. Frieza's eyes are all red now, but he dare not vent to the sky's potential list. With such a powerful thing, Frieza did not dare to provoke. By the side of Monkey King, Beerus, Whis, and Vegeta opened their mouths to look at Wukong, who was covered in white light. Kakarot. Vegeta realized that he wanted to directly kill Wukong by sending a trick. 10 times the potential and cultivation speed, how can this catch him? But after thinking about it, the Saiyan lineage has an unimaginable power, and it is not necessarily only to endure it. Ruth stared at Goku with envy and jealousy, feeling very upset in his heart. Whis, this naive boy, will completely surpass me in the future, even you. Beerus was extremely upset. If not for the Great King, he would still be watching. He would have to beat Monkey King first before talking. This may be it. Originally, his potential is endless. Now that he improves it, his cultivation speed will increase, Lord Beerus. You will be able to retire soon. Whis covered his mouth and laughed. For strength, Whis didn't care very much. His mission was to destroy the priests of the gods. And as long as the whole king is there, the universe can't be chaotic. The messed up have been directly destroyed. Now, everyone, including Sha Shing and Quan Wang, are looking at Monkey King. With the double reward of the third place, Monkey King's Saiyan blood has no end to the potential, and 10 times the cultivation speed. This means that as long as Monkey King does not die, future achievements will be enough to grow above everyone else. And just when everyone was shocked, Monkey King also tried to stabilize his mind, and cultivated the free and extreme power of Vistot with Chi. Suddenly, a white light emerged from Wukong's body. The breath actually started to tremble. The hair color showed silver lines, the pupils turned silver, and the slightest energy appeared around the body. This is the beginning of the free Ji Yi Gong. 0. Chapter 189. All rewards are increased tenfold. Advertisement. Marine Admiral 189 Chapter. Looking at Monkey King who tried to cultivate and broke through easily, Vegeta's heart was extremely cold. The gap with Kakarot has already widened, and now with this superimposed tenfold reward effect, isn't it that there is no hope of catching up? Cultivation efficiency, potential, these effects are really amazing. Even if I can't improve the efficiency and potential of cultivation, this gold list in the sky is enough to threaten me. The whole king looked at Monkey King, and blinked his eyes to the golden light potential ranking in the sky. Plain and even with an interesting tone, Beerus, Weiss, and even the two priests shuddered. What? How could it be possible to threaten the great king? Beerus's chin was about to fall to the ground, and his face was 687, unbelievable. The same is true for Weiss, who can't stand it at all. This is what Quan Wang himself said. And look at the destructive gods, and these people are so shocked. Vegeta also realized that this potential list is not simple, and it can even be said to be heaven-defying to ultimate, and she was surprised in her heart. At the same time, Beerus and Vegeta are more eager for the heavenly potential rankings. I wonder if this list will be ranked again. Vegeta's heart moved, and she looked forward to it. Ruth looked straight at this Jin Bang, who all kings said was threatening, and his heart tightened. If you can practice diligently to improve the ranking, will the rewards be more abundant next time? Just after everyone was shocked by the rewards Wukong received, the potential list above the sky changed again. Open black lens bracket second place in the potential rankings, Brawly, reward. 10 times the potential, 10 times the incomprehension, 10 times the training speed, 10 times the strength improvement. Close black lens bracket. On Wampa Star, standing blankly, Brawly, who looked at the sky, was instantly wrapped in the ultimate white glow. As the magical power flowed, the increase in rewards began to flood into his body madly. The whole Wampa Star was trembling and the ground cracked. Brawly's father was blown away by the air wave in an instant and he didn't know where he was. The creatures on the planet are running away blindly. Brawly's strength is getting stronger and stronger, and he doesn't even have the form of a Super Saiyan, and he is about to split the entire planet. In the end, the white mansions dispersed, Brawly's figure recovered, and his powerful strength was gradually controlled. Advertisement. Call. Brawly clenched his fists in surprise and exhaled deeply. Then he looked up at the golden light potential rankings in the sky. The sluggish, not so intelligent gaze also changed into a sense of wisdom and calmness. The gap between each one is too big. Frieza was stunned by the horror. In the same world, even on the projection screen, you can clearly feel Brawly's terrifying power after it has been increased tenfold. Not to mention the hidden potential, what kind of improvement will understanding bring him? It's amazing. Weiss and the priests of the two kings could not hold back. Brawly's strength after 10 times has completely touched the power threshold of archangels and priests. Adding those potentials and comprehensions, it is completely impossible to imagine how terrifying it will be. The god of destruction, Beerus, was already unable to speak, and his whole body was trembling vigorously. The fourfold reward is too enviable and enviable. Broly, haha, I really want to fight you now. Seeing Brawly's exaggerated progress, Monkey King was eager to try, and his eyes were full of zeal to fight. Goku, a Saiyan who fights purely for battle, is purer than anyone else. Uchiha Madara, Aizen Sosuke, and Uchiha Yabok gritted their teeth, wishing that they all belonged to them. Just by looking at the movement on the projection, you can know how exaggerated this Brawly's reward is after he is present. Yim wanted to cry without tears, and there was no blood in his chest to let him spit out any more, a sulky breath was held in his heart, and his face was pale. The others were even more shocked. The reward for second place has been exaggerated to this point. 10 times the potential, the speed of cultivation, the improvement of comprehension and strength. This is simply all round. I think of a question, what kind of reward will Sha Shing get? This second place is so exaggerated. This question flashed through everyone's mind, and their faces throbbed. Suddenly, everyone's eyes turned to Sha Shing, who was still watching a good show. Im's badly injured body couldn't help but shudder. Advertisement. Sha Shing, you have to directly heaven-defying, even if you go to that cosmic world after receiving the reward, I am afraid you are not afraid of anyone. Frieza, Beerus, Uchiha Madara, Aizen Sosuke, and Yabok, who are famous on the list, looked at the brilliant potential list with serious and solemn faces, and clenched their fists. I have to see how rich and exaggerated the first prize is. How much is the difference between the reward for the first place and the next 5? Kurosaki Ichigo has been watching quietly, and can't help but mutter in his heart at this time. It's hard to calm down. People in other worlds, even Whitebeard Newgate and Golden Lion Shiki, began to guess. Maybe it's 5 overlapping pluses. No, you can see how big the gap between 5th and 2nd is. I think at least 6 rewards. 6 overlapping pluses. Then Sha Shing, the number 1, stood at the pinnacle of the 4 realms in an instant, and was as powerful as never before. The world of Naruto, Shinigami, Dragon Ball, everyone in every world started talking. White Lion, are you nervous? Golden Lion Shiki asked happily. Sha Shing is always lazy, and the thoughts deep in her heart can't be seen. I don't care about 0.0 actually. When it came to me, Sha Shing became boring. Improve your potential. Perception. I don't care, it doesn't matter whether I improve my strength or not. There are still tens of thousands of attribute points on his body that I haven't clicked in. Gu Lala's first prize is probably too exaggerated. You can be prepared to receive it. Whitebeard Newgate was a little envious of Sha Shing at this time. Soon, with the first place Sha Xing's name brightened up. Amidst all the attention, the potential list shows rewards. Potential ranking. First place, Sha Shing, all rewards increased tenfold. Isn't this? Everyone is stupid. Do all things increase tenfold? Potential, cultivation speed, comprehension, strength, etc., all increase tenfold. Chapter 190. The world merges and fights. Advertisement. Marine Admiral Chapter 190. What 4 stacks, 5 stacks? The first place is directly to increase all 10 times. Suddenly, everyone was shocked, a sensation. All increase, the potential strength of the entire body is increased 10 times. It's completely leading in all directions. With the blessing of such rewards, who else can withstand the growth of Sha Shing? Whitebeard Newgate and Golden Lion Shiki, Garp, Rayleigh, Sengoku, Sora, Zephyr and the others around them all looked at Sha Shing in amazement. And on Sha Xing's body, it was only over with a flash of golden light. Did not feel any changes. It's just a reward, don't be so surprised. Sha Shing smiled, her mind was perceiving her body, but she was also a little confused. Has the reward arrived? But other people from all walks of life were completely shocked. All potentials are increased tenfold. Potential, strength, comprehension. Uchiha Madara took a deep breath, and Rinnegan was filled with shock. The gap between the first place and the rest is too big. He is only 5 times as effective as his cultivation. I'm really envious of 27. If I can get this kind of reward, I'm afraid I will surpass you Madara in an instant. Yakushi Kabuto also said bluntly, full of surprise in his tone. Uchiha Madara did not blame Yakushi Kabuto's exclaiming words. Instead, I thought about it in my heart. The blessing of all the rewards seems to be of no use to this Sha Shing. Uchiha Madara squinted her eyes, and Rinnegan's weird eyes flickered. Huh, did you find something? Yakushi Kabuto was taken aback and asked. This Sha Shing has never practiced before. He doesn't need to practice speed, understanding, or even potential. The potential is the first, and so pervert, who knows where the limit is. This is incredible in itself, 10 times more to us. It's all the same, I don't know his limits. Uchiha Madara said solemnly, although this is only his own guess, but feeling tells him that these rewards seem to really have no effect on Sha Shing. Even now, that Sha Xing's body is only blessed with golden light flashing, and there is no change. You said so. Yakushi Kabuto also thought about it. Advertisement. As for the ninjas, even the Gokage, Naruto and Sasuke, because there is still a big threat like Uchiha Madara, they didn't think about it too much, but were shocked by the exaggeration of the first prize. At the same time, people in several other worlds also discovered this, and they were all surprised. He doesn't practice at all, and he doesn't know if he needs to practice, but even if he is given 10 times the speed of cultivation, 10 times the understanding is of no use, right? On the contrary, the tenfold increase in potential has an effect on this Sha Shing. Even more than Ruth, he noticed something strange when he looked at the reward. No way, Sha Xing's laziness is more exaggerated than when he sleeps, and the character of being able to lie down and never sit left a deep impression. The appearance of non-cultivation made Beerus remember clearly, and he reacted as soon as he saw the reward. Vegeta, Monkey King, Weiss, and even the 2 priests of the king all reacted. Beerus-sama said so, it seems to be true. With a hammer in the palm of Wukong's hand, he can be considered to understand it, which is a little unbelievable. Does it really exist that can be strong without cultivating? Vegeta said in disbelief that this is not only unbelievable. Destroying gods will all cultivate, right? However, as soon as these words were said, Vis and Beerus both looked a little weird, and secretly glanced at the king of Sha Shing from a distance. Yes, the great Quan King is an example. It's just that this sentence didn't come out. Vegeta understood the expressions in the 2 people's eyes, sweating coldly. This number 1 Sha Shing can still be compared to the king of the universe. This is too exaggerated. One is to create and destroy all things, and to rule the existence of multiple universes. A genius young man who is only about 20 years old. At the same time, Aizen Sosuke also secretly analyzed in his heart. There is no sense of change in his body. Yes, this Sha Shing does not require cultivation at all. Thinking of this, Aizen Sosuke was also surprised. What kind of existence and origin is this Sha Shing? It would be too exaggerated pervert's talent. Yabok was even silent in the side hall. Your Majesty's reward for the first place seems to be too exaggerated. If this connects the world in the future. The people of the Star Cross Knights were shocked and couldn't help but say. In other words, the ones ranked in front of the friends Yabok are huge threats. Sha Shing is the first and most threatening. Advertisement. It's really an exaggerated and powerful reward, but it doesn't seem to improve Sha Shing much. Yabok said slowly. Although Sha Xing's body didn't flash with white light, it also flashed with rich golden light. After that, there was no sense of change. He seems to be just like me. He has a special body, savvy, and cultivation speed. Yabok felt that this Sha Shing was just like him, and his tone became more certain. A group of star-crossed knights also looked surprised, and looked at Sha Shing projected on the sky outside. Really, most people are shocked that Sha Shing won such an exaggerated award for the first place. Even Newgate 687, Shiki and others are excited by the side, as if they have received this kind of reward. Sha Shing looked helpless. After the golden light flashed, the reward was the same as if it hadn't arrived. Actually, what's the point of raising all 10 times? One's own strength is entirely based on signing in and gaining attribute points to grow. The potential, the speed of cultivation, and the comprehension are actually meaningless and useless. 10 times the promotion reward and less, the attribute points can also be multiplied 10 times. That would be completely different. But at this time, the potential gold list in the sky once again attracted everyone's attention. Sha Shing also looked over first. After the rewards were announced on the potential gold list, they even started to announce them. The words appeared in the sky, and everyone who looked at it seemed to have a voice in their minds to help out. Suddenly, everyone's eyes changed drastically. The potential ranking list is here. Starting today, a world integration competition will take place in a year. 5 people will be selected from each world to participate in the World Decisive Battle. The losing world will merge into the 2 victorious worlds. And the gold list will be reshuffled for a new round of ranking. And redo the reward. People who are not on the list in time will also have the opportunity to show their potential and sprint to the top 10 rewards. Chapter 191. Kill I'm. Advertisement. Marine Admiral 191 Chapter. The decisive battle in the world. A chance to re-rank the list. Suddenly, everyone's eyes lit up. People who are confident in their potential and strength, such as Vegeta, Sasuke, are all secretly excited. Aizen Sosuke and Uchiha Madara, who did not rank well, also changed their expressions. Rich rewards, magical powers, this potential gold list is like a big treasure at this time, impacting everyone's hearts. The announcement on the gold list also continues. In order to make the gap between people in different worlds, everyone on the list can open a chance to compete. Competing will be carried out in a special space, and will balance the gap in the power system between the dimensional worlds, and will compete in an absolute state of balance. Close black lens bracket. This is the end of the announcement of the potential gold list. The 4 worlds fell into silence at once. Sha Shing understands that this potential gold list is doing things. The world will merge, and whoever merges will be decided by world duel 1 year later. During this period, the top 10 people also have a chance to challenge the other top 10. Sha Shing smiled, with a funny look. I got a 10-fold bonus, and then as long as there is no bonus after signing in, you can know if this is caused by the system. After all, if this is not done by the system, what 10 times 100 times Chengdu cannot affect the system. Sha Shing was calm in her heart, but felt that she would be in trouble if she was the first to challenge. Whitebeard Newgate and Garp, Shiki, Sengoku and others were all excited. Old guy, the potential list is not restricted by age, do you think I have a chance to go up? Golden Lion Shiki turned his head to ask Newgate with excitement. The result was mercilessly mocked by Whitebeard Newgate. Even Garp Vice Admiral is eager to try. The old man is so old, he seems to have to practice hard for a while to try. Everyone roared with laughter. Sha Shing also looked at it with a smile, and it was true. These rewards are too tempting for them. Doubled strength, doubled potential, and practice speed. Advertisement. All kinds, even more than that. This is the case in the pirate world. The other 3 worlds are even more sensational. In other words, there is actually a chance. Wu Ying was shocked, and after reacting, it was tight again. Tsunade feels even more that Naruto has a chance. It's just that, in 1 year, we still have to survive this crisis, and the world will merge in 1 year. Third Reikage said solemnly. The others nodded solemnly. Now how to play against Uchiha Madara is the most important thing. Whether anyone can be on the list is the next thing. Uchiha Madara was lowering her head in silence at this time. Yakushi Kabuto did not speak anymore, and the tens of thousands of ninjas below were even more at a loss in amazement. Those on the list have a chance to compete. This made the top 10 people temporarily silent like Uchiha Madara. And the Dragon Ball world. Vandalism. Everyone didn't speak for a while, and there was a storm in their hearts. The great Lord Quan King will merge with the dimensional world. Weiss said incredulously. There is no doubt that the whole king of this world is the highest status, the most terrifying strength, and the true gods that rule the 12 universes. His own world will be merged uncontrollably, which makes Wes very shocked. Single quote exclamation mark. Quote. Yes, I have already felt the power of fusion in the void, and the gold list is controlling. The general trend of the dimensional world is irresistible, and I have no choice but to proceed like it says. There is no more emotion in the whole king, as if it is a rule manifesting, and the tone of this kind of thing is still the same as before. Beerus, Weiss, and the 2 guardians were shocked. A dual field that integrates the world and balances the power system. These things can't even be done by the entire king. What kind of existence is on which potential gold list? Is it conscious, or is it someone behind the scenes? Think carefully. But they were shocked, but Monkey King moved his hands and feet, watching Sha Shing with his eyes, and eagerly prepared to directly challenge Sha Shing and fight for a fight. How big is the gap between me and him? Monkey King was very excited and was about to issue a challenge. Advertisement. Beerus knew this Saiyan's temperament, and the leader put it directly on Wukong's shoulder. Stopped it. Don't worry, maybe other people want to challenge directly, you can take a good look and challenge first. There is only one chance to fight. Beerus grabbed Sha Shing and spoke. Monkey King was also stunned, and looked up at the projection. Indeed, just as Beerus expected, all the guys above were eager to challenge Sha Shing, and their eyes were full of frenzied fighting spirit. I want to try, what is the gap between myself and Sha Shing? Master Beerus, I really want to fight Sha Shing. Wukong looked at it in amazement, but he didn't expect everyone to be so excited about the first place Sha Shing. That's natural, the reward for the first place or the mysterious strength makes everyone curious. Wes also took the scepter and looked at Sha Shing. Everyone on the list has a deep interest in Sha Shing. At this time, when everyone paid attention to Sha Shing, something happened. In the trench where the ocean was split, Yim Guigi walked along the edge of the ocean, avoided the perspective of Sha Shing and others, and moved away quietly step by step. Just as he opened a distance, Yim showed his strength and recovered for a long time, armed with Conqueror's Haki violently, burst out instantly, and added the power of space. Just jump directly into the space and escape. No matter what, I have to leave first and wait for the matter to end. Wang Qian Zhao, I can hardly control my life and death. Hope came in Im's eyes. Until now, the Sha Shing group has not noticed that as long as they enter the space, they are safe. Did I let you go? Sha Xing's voice suddenly remembered in Im's ears. When Im's eyes were frightened, Sha Shing glanced back. The space freezes instantly. Conqueror's Haki, the ruining weapon, shone a golden light and covered Im. No, White Lion. Im panicked, and he had no resistance at all and was drowned in. Sha Xing's eyes were unremarkable, but Yim broke through the space under Sha Xing's Conqueror's Haki, immediately broke off his breath, and died. Garp, Kong, Sengoku, Sakazuki, and the three Admiral people from the world government all looked at Yim's body with complicated expressions and finally disappeared into the void. Chapter 192, Aizen challenges Uchiha Madara. Advertisement. Marine Admiral 192 Chapter. Sha Shing didn't intend to let Yim go. The previous retention was also because of a sudden situation. And Yim wanted to jump directly away from the space while Sha Shing focused on other worlds. How could this be possible? The tens of thousands of attribute points were added to Conqueror's Haki slowly, silently, little by little in Sha Shing. Today's strength is not like the previous battle, just covering the impact is enough to kill the already seriously injured Im. The creation of the world government, a behind-the-scenes ruler who had lived 800 years ago to the present, died in the hands of the White Lion Sha Shing. Everyone on the sea is solemn in their hearts, shocking Yim's end, and also knows that Sha Shing at this moment is not only the first person in his own world, but is one of the top powerhouses in the four worlds. And the demise of the sixth Im made people in the other three worlds feel awe-inspiring. Sha Shing, shot decisively and fiercely, is definitely not an indecisive generation. The talent is still so high, and the strength is unfathomable. Im, who was in sixth place, couldn't even take a face-to-face. The power of this golden light curtain is very powerful. Uchiha Madara's Rinnegan is beyond the world to see deeper 687, but he also knows that Conqueror's Haki from Sha Shing is extremely powerful. Unable to become more solemn, the heart that originally planned to challenge directly also began to converge. After all, it is the first place. The means and potential are unfathomable. If you rush to challenge, you will waste this opportunity. Uchiha Madara can plan the resurrection plan, and the whole world of infinite Tsukuyomi is naturally not a fool, and the thoughts will be understood as soon as they turn in their minds. And Yakushi Kabuto, Gokage, Naruto and others looked at Sha Shing in shock. The potential is the first place, and the strength is not bad. The sixth place Yim's aura just broke out is obviously very strong, but he was killed without the strength to fight back. People in the Naruto world all know that the first place Sha Shing is probably unimaginable now, and it is not worse than the legend of Uchiha Madara. It will even be stronger. In an instant, Im, who was sixth, was wiped out. I still broke the space directly, revealing the void. In the palace of the Invisible Empire, Yabok stood up in shock. It's not surprising to be able to beat Im, after all, Sha Shing can be ranked first. But even the hands Cha didn't move, and the strange golden light curtain directly impacted and broke the space, which was terrifying. Advertisement. After hearing the words of your friend Yabok, everyone in the Star-Crossed Knights understood the horror, and looked at the lazy Sha Shing in the projection with shocked expressions. Aizen Sosuke and Arankar Espada, the Gote 13 captains of Jingling Garden, both were extremely serious, and their hearts were tight. The strength of Sha Shing seems to be beyond imagination. Aizen Sosuke couldn't help but feel the pressure in his heart. The appearance of multiple worlds also opened his eyes. I have always been proud of myself, but barely have the potential to be ranked 10th in the world. And each of them is extremely powerful. Thinking about it, Aizen Sosuke's eyes turned to Uchiha Madara. A war spirit flashed in his eyes. In the Dragon Ball world, people in other worlds can't see the clues, but King Quan, Weiss and others can see a little. What this Sha Shing uses seems to be the force of will, and is it a deterrent? An attack directly acting on the spirit can be transformed into a practical destroying offensive. These forces are very powerful. As the martial arts master of the Destroyer God, Weiss had such a great vision. At this time, he had to sigh that the power used by Sha Shing was indeed powerful. Interesting ability. If you fight, you should pay more attention. The whole king also uttered a word, and his tone remained as usual, without any fluctuations. Even the whole king was reminding that Beerus and Monkey King had to pay attention in their hearts. When all the people reacted to the strength of Sha Shing, they also began to think of another layer. The 6th place I'm is dead. Isn't that equivalent to a quota has been vacated? Suddenly, many people started to have their eyes brightened. 10 missing 1, the people behind will have a chance. Although there is a vacant spot, it does not mean that you will not die if you are on the list. The potential list is just being able to stay on the list to get rewards, and the danger of life still exists. At this moment, Weiss turned his head and said to Wukong and others. It is a confession, but also to let them not be careless. If you want a higher ranking, or want to be on the list, you must be prepared for death. Advertisement. Inside, there are people from 4 worlds. Naturally, most people in other worlds also understand this truth. The main thing for Weiss is to confess that Goku, who doesn't think about other guys in order to fight. At this time, the potential gold list suddenly began to change. The fonts were appearing, and the voices sounded in the hearts of people in the 4 worlds at the same time. 10th place, Aizen Sosuke raised the challenge. Challenger, 7th, Uchiha Madara. Close black lens bracket. Suddenly, everyone was shocked. Did you start the challenge so soon? The Shinigami of the Gote team didn't know why Aizen Sosuke challenged Uchiha Madara, and they all looked at Aizen Sosuke coldly. Jin Bang's ethereal voice sounded again. I watched everyone around me for a while, but Sha Shing didn't care about so much, lying down with a smile, chewing on the pineapple pie and watching the big show. How could Uchiha Madara persuaded Aizen Sosuke, sneered, and accepted the challenge? Even Sha Shing looked interested. With a move of his hand, his own recliner, table, even pineapple pie and various delicacies appeared in front of him. Bidu is established, the duel space is ready, and both sides have 10 minutes to prepare for the battle. Close black lens bracket. Can't wait. Aizen Sosuke, the 10th, challenged Uchiha Madara, the 7th. Actually, Aizen Sosuke was not sure to deal with other people. Sha Shing and Beerus were not easy to mess with, and they were totally uncertain. A picture projection of a special space has appeared in the sky of all the worlds. Who will win the battle between the two? Why not take this Uchiha Madara to try your hand first, seize the chance of missing one, and kill him to improve the ranking? The Espadas and the Arankar army all cheered, cheering for Aizen Sosuke. For a while, everyone looked at them curiously. Thank you for reading this story at hotmtnovel.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. It is also true that Aizen Sosuke was upset when he was ranked 10th. Before, he thought that Uchiha Madara did not have the posture that a strong man should have and was ranked 7th. How long has this rule been pronounced? It seems that Aizen Sosuke has long wanted to take action against Uchiha Madara. This is an epic duel between Shinigami World and Naruto World. Chapter 193, The Collision of Two Worlds. Advertisement. Marine Admiral Chapter 193. Hurry up, everyone eat and drink, sit down and watch. It's much cooler than playing games and watching shows. Sha Shing smiled and greeted Whitebeard Newgate, Shiki, Garp and others around him to watch the show. And 10 minutes of preparations have not passed. Naruto took this opportunity to turn on the Nine Tails mode directly on his body, and the orange-red chakra attacked Uchiha Madara. But Naruto, who had been trained to Nine Tails and became so powerful, made a single blow, and Uchiha Madara had nowhere to hide, so he could only use it to sneak attack. However, a scene that stunned everyone appeared. The oversized Rasengan thrown from Naruto's hand went straight through Uchiha Madara's body. Can't play an offensive role. Uchiha Madara was also surprised to discover this. He tried to attack, and a great fireball was sent directly, but there was no way to harm other people. The body is completely pulled in like a mirror space. What exactly is this? Naruto is also a little anxious, thinking that the move just now has a good chance of hitting Uchiha Madara. But the attack can't attack. This is the preparation and protection of the potential gold list, right? Yakushi Kabuto is the closest, so please be clear. At first glance, other people also understood a little. In the state of preparation, it is protected by the gold list. Uchiha Madara didn't worry, and sneered at Naruto. Began to enter the strongest fighting state. There are Hashirama cells in the body, plus Rinnegan, and I want to directly enter the 6 paths mode. Since others can't beat yourself, and you can't beat others, then prepare for the fight with all your strength. In an instant, a powerful aura erupted from Uchiha Madara's body, but it had no effect on the outside world. The other side. In the Shinigami world, Aizen Sosuke saw through the projection that Uchiha Madara was in a state, and his whole body began to change, and he did not dare to underestimate the enemy in the slightest. Immediately liberate the power of Hogyoku and begin to fuse. This kind of opportunity, even if they saw a scene in Naruto World that couldn't be attacked, Kurosaki Ichigo and others didn't want to give up this opportunity. Advertisement. Bankai started one after another, trying to affect Aizen Sosuke by causing damage when he entered the battlefield. However, in the same way, no matter what kind of Bankai force it is, it cannot affect Aizen Sosuke. Aizen Sosuke was also unable to cause harm to Kurosaki Ichigo and others. The mirror world is general, visible and untouchable. Kurosaki Ichigo, Zaraki Kenpachi and others have nothing to do, and they will even be entangled by a spada. But soon, 10 minutes of preparation time passed quickly. Under everyone's attention, Aizen Sosuke and Uchiha Madara entered a special battle space. People in the four worlds can also see clearly through the projection. It is a world with only land and sky. Aizen and Uchiha Madara appeared in this seemingly boundless world, and you can also see the projections and rankings of the four worlds when you look up. It is Uchiha Madara who has entered the Six Paths mode. Fully merged with Hogyoku and entered the final fusion form Aizen Sosuke. The two stood opposite each other. This kind of look really doesn't look like a human being. Uchiha Madara's body in impure world reincarnation has turned white. Although it still looks like the ground is cracked, the white clothes on me are covered with dark red armor. The two Rinagons showed a strange purple light. Aizen Sosuke, who was on the opposite side, seemed to have changed his temperament. An eye-like gap appeared on the forehead, 3 holes appeared in the upper body, Hogyoku was in the top hole, and Zanpakuto merged with the right hand. 6 skulls grew on the wings behind him. Just like that, the momentum is not weak with Uchiha Madara. When the strength of the two entered here, the gap in the dimensional world had also been balanced. A guy who doesn't even belong to his own body should be embarrassed to judge others. You, just wait for death. There is no mood swing or color in Aizen Sosuke's voice. Uchiha Madara snorted coldly, knowing that Aizen Sosuke was squeezing a soft persimmon, and immediately stopped talking. A blue light appeared on the body, a huge skeleton formed, and then the armor was put on, in the blink of an eye. Susanoo, who was completely body, appeared. No extra nonsense, Uchiha Madara directly controlled Susanoo, and smashed it with 3 heads and 6 arms holding a huge sword. Advertisement. Aizen Sosuke also didn't want to back down at the first attack, Reiatsu broke out, and even directly took Zanpakuto's big sword against Susanoo. For flowers bang. In the first encounter, Aizen Sosuke was holding a blue big sword, and the whole person slipped back on the ground, leaving a deep gully on the ground. Susanoo's cut is huge. Aizen Sosuke also changed in his heart as he retreated. His body was originally the Shinigami of the soul physique, but now he has become a flesh and blood body, and he was slashed by a knife, and his whole body was a little bit painful. Huge figure. Fiber break. As he retreated, one of the skulls behind Aizen Sosuke stretched out. The terrifying Reiatsu is gathering, and the power of Hogyoku is gathering. A Reiatsu impact skill, blinking towards Susanoo of Uchiha Madara, he blinked. This did not happen to Uchiha Madara, Susanoo hadn't even held it, so he broke open and shot through. Moreover, the power of 6 paths cannot absorb the power of Aizen Sosuke's Reiatsu like chakra. Truth-seeking ball. How could Uchiha Madara recognize the council, turning into a sharp spear from the truth-seeking ball directly behind the main body, and stab at Aizen Sosuke? However, the attack is not over yet. Uchiha Madara knows that he is not completely resurrected, so he can only make a quick battle. After sending out the truth-seeking ball while the distance was close, I closed my hands and pushed forward, and a black sphere flew directly towards Aizen Sosuke. God. Planetary devastation. This is exactly Uchiha Madara's own enhanced version of planetary devastation. Aizen Sosuke couldn't see his figure quickly, and after evading the attacking spear of the truth-seeking ball, the small black ball that just flew in front of him burst out with a powerful gravitational force. And keep rising. Small bugs. A terrifying Reiatsu erupted from Aizen Sosuke, who directly destroyed the planetary devastation black core with a direct wave of the sword. Ultimately radiant break. Aizen naturally doesn't keep his hands, and starts using one of the most powerful moves in one shot. When the spectators were amazed by the fierce battle between the two, Sha Shing was even more exquisite. As expected, Uchiha Madara and Aizen Sosuke are the two big villains. It seems that they are going to make a big move to determine the winner. 0. Chapter 194. Aizen wins. Advertisement. Marine Admiral 194 Chapter. The knife behind Aizen Sosuke slashed the planetary devastation. One fell to the ground, and the powerful impact smashed a big hole. The ridge wing shape formed a circle in front of him, and 6 skulls came together in it. The incomparably powerful Reiatsu condensed and began to form a burst point compressed to ultimate, which is extremely radiant. Uchiha Madara also seems to know that planetary devastation is still unable to cause strong damage to Aizen Sosuke. I just didn't expect it to be broken so easily, and turned around and used such a powerful big move. The shining purple light made Uchiha Madara's back cool in 6 paths form. The look changed. My 6 paths form is fake, but after the body comes in, it doesn't seem to be a pure impure world reincarnation body anymore. Uchiha Madara is also a little helpless. He is not resurrected by himself. It is impossible to use the 690 and many ninjutsu. Now facing Aizen Sosuke's ultimate move, he can only use Rinnegan's power. The flower and tree world is here. Tengai Shinsei. The full body Susanoo is activated, and it will be sealed with the body. In an instant, a huge tree grew crazily around Aizen Sosuke, who was still condensing Kito's surprise, and began to bear flowers, which surrounded Aizen Sosuke layer by layer. The flowers were in full bloom, and the paralyzed pollen fell on Aizen Sosuke's body. At the same time, a meteorite of 1,000 meters in the sky broke through the sky and fell down towards Aizen Sosuke with howling. Condensing Reiatsu's radiant break, the terrifying meteorite falling in the flower tree world and the sky. Both of them took out the most harmful tricks at this time. These two guys are really scary. Whitebeard Newgate, Garp and a group of people were by Sha Xing's side, eating and drinking, watching the duel in the special duel arena and couldn't help but sigh. The fighting aura inside can be directly penetrated to make people in the four worlds clearly perceive it. Under the attention, the two attacks finally collided together. Aizen Sosuke knew that his radiant breaking could not stop. The pollen has shaken his body. The heart is ruthless, and the final fusion form with full recovery power makes him want to take a gamble. The ultimate radical break is still aimed at Uchiha Madara in the complete body Susanoo. Madara is not afraid, and Rinnegan clings to Aizen Sosuke. After his body goes out, it is just the body of impure world reincarnation, which can be recovered. Advertisement. It is enough to resist it, and Rinnegan's 6 paths power can also absorb a little damage, and it is not completely inaccessible. Tengai Shinsei, it is also possible that Aizen Sosuke will be killed directly in conjunction with the arrival of the Flower Tree World. Fight. Boom. The ultimate radiant burst is like a huge misfired light, directly launched in the past. Susanoo's forehead shattered directly, hitting Uchiha Madara who could not dodge. The huge explosion exploded directly on Uchiha Madara's body. When Tengai Shinsei fell, Aizen Sosuke did not dodge in order to launch the ultimate radiant burst. The meteorite that created flames from the friction fell and hit Aizen Sosuke. The surrounding flowers and trees burned directly, raging. However, there is not only one in the sky, but 3 meteorites. One is bigger than the other, superimposed and smashed. The entire battle space was dusty. Uchiha Madara, who was hit by the radiant breaker, screamed in the explosion and fell down. Aizen Sosuke, who was hit by Tengai Shinsei, was silent, hidden under the meteorite fragments and invisible. The ground is a huge hole. People in the 4 worlds all watch it with breathtaking views. Both are first-class powerhouses. What a shocking battle. Yamamoto Uenianagi was also amazed. Kurosaki Ichigo and others looked expectantly. I don't want Aizen Sosuke to win. Everyone in other worlds swallowed their throats. However, everyone in the world of Sha Shing and Dragon Ball is more calm. Formidable is formidable, and it is not so powerful under the combat power of the bursting star. But everyone thought Aizen Sosuke was going to be smashed to death. Under the flaming meteorite fragments, a figure jumped out. Aizen Sosuke was smashed and broken in many places, but he still gasped and recovered quickly. The ability of high-speed regeneration. But Madara, who entered the 6 paths form, couldn't stand up because of impure world reincarnation's body. Advertisement. He was almost killed by Aizen Sosuke's ultimate radiant attack. Too powerful shock and explosion. You lose. Aizen Sosuke laughed, laughing loudly on his unclear face. Uchiha Madara was lying on the ground, and most of her upper body disappeared, and she couldn't recover at once. Despite Uchiha Madara's unwillingness, the potential gold list announced Aizen Sosuke's victory. Congratulations to the 10th place Aizen Sosuke for his successful challenge. Obtain the rewards of victories. Training efficiency is increased 10 times. Close black lens bracket. The dust settled, and both sides began to recover. With the announcement of the gold list, everyone was in an uproar. Isn't this the ranking reward that Uchiha Madara originally got for 7th place? This is equivalent to the challenge of playing the rankings. Winning can get the same ability as the opponent's reward. People in the 4 worlds all discussed in amazement. In this case, wouldn't there be a lot of good shows to watch? 10 celebrities, everyone has a chance to challenge. If no one backs down and doesn't fight, you can watch 10 games. Sha Shing also smiled. I really don't know what the potential awards are inspiring. In this case, didn't all the 10 times the reward report make everyone on the list feel itchy? Moreover, there is no punishment for being a loser, the reward is still there, but you will be beaten up by the fat. But what is there? As long as you don't die, you can say anything. If you lose without losing, you can make a lot of money if you win. At this time, the 0.0 character Chiba Madara also withdrew from the decisive world. As soon as it came out, the power of the forbidden technique of impure world reincarnation began to repair the body. Almost. Uchiha Madara hates him a bit, his body hasn't really been resurrected yet, and his strength can't be fully displayed even in the battle space of the balanced dimension. Otherwise, Aizen Sosuke will not be his opponent. The people in Naruto world saw that Uchiha Madara had lost, and the ninja allied forces were relieved. Gokage and Naruto are also a little relieved. If Uchiha Madara gains the power doubled by Aizen Sosuke, wouldn't it be unnecessary to fight? Who knows how powerful Uchiha Madara will be? Moreover, Uchiha Obito knows that Uchiha Madara is still in the state of impure world reincarnation, not the peak power. Unfortunately, it's still a bit worse. If you win, it will be easy. Chapter 195. Brawly challenges the White Lions. Advertisement. Marine Admiral 195 Chapter. Heart moved. Everyone looked at Aizen Sosuke, who had gained 10 times the efficiency of his practice, and all began to move. People in the Shinigami world laughed when Aizen Sosuke came out, their hearts tightened, and their faces were ugly. Kurosaki Ichigo wants to directly use his challenge opportunity to challenge Aizen Sosuke again. But the gold list is to inform that it will take 10 minutes as a buffer period to continue to challenge those who have just ended the battle. There was no way for Kurosaki Ichigo. He wanted to go up to fight Aizen Sosuke. Yamamoto Motoyanagi also stopped Kurosaki Ichigo. This is not the time to fight directly with Arankar Manos Grande. Yamamoto Uenian also shook his head helplessly. Only the friend Yabok, who was hidden in the dark, is the greatest threat. And among the heartbeaters, Beerus is the most trembling heartbeat. Wes looked at Beerus with a jealous look and couldn't help covering his mouth and smiling. Master Beerus, don't look at me. Wukong waved his hand quickly, crying and laughing. He had fought with Beerus. If one's own world is fighting against the people of one's own world, there is no need to balance a power system. Master Beerus doesn't need to speak martial arts. Wukong wisely didn't want to engage in a meaningless battle with Beerus. The god of destruction, Beerus, also looked at Wukong with his eyes sideways and snorted dissatisfiedly. But it's true that you can't look at yourself and fight. Last time I had a good contest with Monkey King. Afterwards, Beerus turned his head to look at Frieza on a certain planet in the projection. Suddenly, Frieza was so scared that Beerus stared at her straight hair. Beerus, don't choose me. I don't know if Frieza's meditation prayer has worked. Beerus thought for a while or gave up challenging Frieza. Frieza just got a ranking compared to himself, and the rewards are not that good. To use a precious challenge opportunity, Beerus still feels that it is better to directly challenge the high rankings. For example, the friend Yabok, who talks about omniscience and almighty power. It's the guy Sha Shing. No matter what, Beerus can't see through it at all. It's safer to let others take the challenge first and then take a look. And it's better than Wukong's reward, except for Sha Shing, there is only second Broly. This is a good choice to challenge Broly. Advertisement. Beerus felt his chin and thought about it. Frieza also sighed deeply. As long as it is not targeted by the god of destruction, it will not be destroyed. And at this moment, suddenly, the ethereal voice of the potential gold list sounded. Potential second, Broly, challenge first, Sha Shing. Close black lens bracket. There was silence, and expressions of astonishment appeared on everyone's faces. In the projection of Wampa Star, Broly showed a smile. His comprehension improved and his brain became more active. The idea now is even simpler. If you are the second, then find the first one to compare. As for rewards or something, Broly hadn't thought about it. After a few seconds of silence in the four worlds, the time required was in an uproar, boiling. Beerus, Goku, Frieza, Aizen, Sosuke, Yabok and others all had their eyes bright. Other people's eyes glowed even more. The second place directly challenged the first place. The highlight came so quickly. At this moment, you can see how powerful the first and second potential guy among the most pervert three people can be. Especially Sha Shing, the guy ranked first in the potential list. Whether it's Uchiha Madara from Naruto World or the Ninja Alliance, or Yamamoto Motoyanagi from Shinigami World and Aizen Sosuke, friends Yabok. Everyone wants to see that after Sha Shing enters the special battle space, can the combat power after being weakened and balanced be so easy? Beerus, Weiss, and even the whole king are curious about the strength of Sha Shing, who has a sense of danger hidden in his body. People from fighting nations like Goku and Vegeta are even more excited. Finally, I can see more intense battles. Broly's strength is obvious to all through the screen just now. Powerful, very powerful, even Frieza in golden form, Super Blue Vegeta, and Goku are not opponents. Even in a special space, the strength it exerts is terrible. In a fight, it is not always certain who wins and who wins. Whitebeard Newgate and Golden Lion Shiki, Garp, Sengoku, Zephyr and others were a little excited. They are not worried about Sha Shing. The White Lion Sha Shing has always given them the feeling that they are invincible in the world. Even if it is a guy fighting a different world, everyone is confident. In this regard, Sha Shing is very helpless. Advertisement. I didn't expect to find myself so soon. Sha Shing originally only wanted to be a melon eater, and was ready to eat and drink. All of them plan to let others challenge themselves, but if this continues, they will be able to take a good look at the drama. Whoever thought that Broly, the silly Saiyan who grew up in Wampastar, would directly challenge himself? Sha Shing, do you accept the challenge? Jin Bang's voice rang directly in Xia Xing's mind. Okay, don't install the salted fish system. Sha Shing was helpless, but after another thought, it's boring anyway. Since Broly challenges himself, it's okay to experience it. Accept the challenge, system. Sha Shing deliberately replied like this in her mind, secretly amused. It was affirmed, and the voice of Jinbang was once again transmitted to the four worlds. Accept the challenge. Broly 690 played against Sha Shing, and entered 10 minutes to prepare. Close black lens bracket. Sha Shing accepted. Beerus squinted his eyes and smiled. Acceptance is normal, if the first place does not accept, in fact, there is really no way to take him. Unless you can get over the barriers of the world and make trouble for him. The real battle is about to begin. Wukong clenched his fists in anticipation of excitement. It should be said that everyone is looking forward to the battle between Sha Shing and Broly, and they are all attentive. 10 minutes to prepare for the battle began. Broly knows that Sha Shing is not easy at all. He immediately began to warm up right there, his momentum exploded, and the waves of air billowed. With a punch, it directly beat a mountain next to it to powder, making people from all the worlds who noticed them feel awe-inspiring. That is a big mountain. Sure enough, Broly is so powerful that it is unimaginable. Sha Shing was indifferent, still sitting paralyzed like a salted fish. I lazily ate the pineapple pie while using Conqueror's Haki to directly pull the sinking White Lion Island up. The people above have always been under protection, and they are still a little bit reluctant to force them. Sha Shing also didn't bother to build it back, and lion fruit directly floated on the White Lion Island. Everyone looked helpless. Others smashed the mountain to warm up. You are better off, and you have eaten up the island. In this way, 10 minutes passed quickly. Chapter 196. Brawly can't even break the defense. Advertisement. Marine Admiral 196 Chapter. 10 minutes later, under the gaze of everyone, Sha Shing and Brawly were instantly teleported to the special battle space. People in the four worlds outside began to look at it quietly and solemnly. The two inside stood on the ground not far apart. Sha Shing snorted, and he could clearly feel that his strength had been balanced and weakened a lot. Similarly, Brawly's momentum on the opposite side also instantly dropped a lot. Obviously in this world, the strength of the two reached a dimensional balance in an instant. But it is not a true balance of power. You must know how terrifying and powerful the power system is in the Dragon Ball world. At the stage of the Super Saiyan, it has almost reached the point where a planet is blown by a punch, and a gas wave blows up a star. The ability to perfectly balance this gap shows the horror of its gold list. Brawly's expression hasn't changed much either. Under the attention of everyone, Brawly squeezed his fist, glanced at Sha Shing, then took the initiative to attack, and his body suddenly disappeared in place. Sha Shing didn't make any response, and said that standing still, the flaws in her suit surprised the people outside the court. You must know that Brawly's proactive offense is obviously very strong. Bang! The sound of the sonic boom exploded, and the whole person was like a beast, aggressively rushing towards Sha Shing. When there was still some distance from Sha Shing, it seemed that there was an invisible barrier directly blocking Brawly's front. Brawly's face was still so determined, knowing that there was a barrier, and he punched out without flinching. Boom! The air wave and the incomparable force directly hit the barrier tens of meters in front of Sha Shing. Instead of breaking, his feet sank into the ground. On the barrier, the ripples rolled up and spread until they spread to all Conqueror's Haki shields. Everyone can see clearly that it is a semicircular invisible barrier. Bang! Puff! Bang! Multiple fists fell on Xia Xing's Haki defensive cover, but they still didn't move. Brawly was startled. What kind of shield is this? How can it be as strong as this? People from all over the world were taken aback. Brawly's attack was not weak, although it was just pure punch after punch. Advertisement. But the power above is extremely powerful, and no one on the side of the court dared to say that they could receive these punches from Brawly. Even if Yabok watched this scene, he was a little drumming. If he built his own defense, he would be stomped directly by Brawly's body without punching, let alone whether he could take these punches. It's simply choking. And this offensive force, but even Sha Xing's unknown invisible defensive force can't break the shake. It's really worthy of being the number one Sha Shing. Bai Ruth's eyes became more solemn. And in the pirate world, Kaido, Big Mom, Red Earl, Bullet and others all laughed. People from other worlds feel the despair and fear that is dominated by the White Lion. Kaido, Big Mom and others all said with a smile. They are familiar with this scene, they have tried hard to break it, but they have never succeeded, and even finally discovered that this is actually just a trivial Conqueror's Haki defense that Sha Shing deployed casually. What are you? Brawly was dissatisfied, very dissatisfied. This is just the beginning, I can't even break the defensive shield of Sha Shing. How can this be allowed? With a roar of anger, Brawly began to unlock the Saiyan's talent for enhancing strength. The muscles all over his body swelled, his eye pupils turned golden, his hair stood up, his breath turned green, and his body rose. The power of the Great Ape. Sha Shing naturally knows Brawly. This state is the form in which the power of the Saiyan Great Ape is displayed in a human form. It also seems that only the Brawly Club can achieve a form that requires extremely high Saiyan talent. However, it is not enough. The people off the court watched Brawly show a more powerful form, although they couldn't feel it intuitively. But it can be clearly seen that the earth in Bidu world is shaking, and the power that Brawly bursts out is very powerful. The power of Saiyan. The powerful aura of the same kind made Monkey King feel, and the blood was boiling all over his body. But seeing Sha Shing facing Brawly indifferently, Wukong actually wants to fight Sha Shing more. How strong is this guy? Wukong has never let go of his heart at this moment. At this time, Brawly, who had turned on the power of the Great Ape, attacked wildly again. Advertisement. The green waves of air are rising, and they are constantly attacking while using both hands and feet. In this state, Brawly finally shook the defense of Sha Shing Conqueror's Haki. And is constantly shortening the protection distance. Sha Shing is also curious, the blood of this Saiyan is really pervert. The power of the Great Ape has exploded. I don't know how much this power has been raised. It is initially estimated that it is 3 or 4 times more than that. However, Brawly's eyes revealed a hint of excitement, and Sha Xing's defense was about to be completely fixed, and he couldn't get in any more when he was still 30 centimeters away from Sha Shing. Brawly was a little mad, his anger surged straight up, and even green light waves burst out of his hands to attack and bomb. After a fierce attack, even the ground was bombed with potholes everywhere, bottomless, and a mess of destruction. But the transparent defensive cover in front of Sha Shing is no longer shaken. What's the situation? Everyone in the appearance battle was dumbfounded. I was shocked and a little shocked. Sha Shing, the number one in this potential list, seems to be a bit evil. Always defend, it also depends on the mood. Vegeta was even more stunned, and the more she felt Sha Xing's unfathomable madness. As soon as Whis' voice fell, Sha Shing had already begun to fight back in the Bidu space. The scary thing is that they are all weakened inside. No defensive cover can be as strong as this. The extremely powerful Conqueror's Haki bursts out wildly. Brawly has become so powerful. Under this kind of attack, look at the horror of the battle space. If this is in the real world continent, I am afraid it will be a direct hit. Since we saw this Sha Shing, we haven't seen him make any other movements. We haven't even moved our fingers. It's probably just between a thought, or the automatic defense Brawley and him. There is a huge gap. What kind of defense is this? Weiss was silent for a moment, and even said directly. Sha Shing faintly looked at Brawley, who was about to attack again. This is the gap in strength. Even Sha Xing's defense can't be broken. Thank you for reading this story at hotmtnovel.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Except for the people in Pirate World, everyone in his Wong Nuo's world was amazed. What is this? It's incredible. Weiss shook his head and couldn't help but say what was in his mind. Chapter 197. Brawley, the more and more fierce the war. Advertisement. Marine Admiral 197 Chapter. The violent Conqueror's Haki gushes out. This time, it is armed Conquerors. Sha Shing floated on the pothole and condensed a Conqueror's Haki knife directly above her head. When Brawley didn't react from the front, the knife fell straight down. Unable to react, and no track was captured, only a sense of danger emerged in Brawley's perception. Poof! Slightly, the sound of flesh and blood breaking open with a stab. Directly cut Brawley from his left shoulder to under his chest, a huge wound. Blood is splashing. The wound is hideous. Kaido, who watched the pirate world off the court, burst out laughing. I know this. At first, Kaido was severely injured and dying by Sha Shing. And now, Brawley suffered a cut from Sha Shing and roared in pain. His pupils were a little pale. Brawley's sanity disappeared in the rising anger, and in the roar, the Saiyan's characteristics of getting stronger and stronger made him constantly stronger. Muscles surging, the flames of the whole body are more intense, and the wounds on his body are healing quickly. Sha Shing knows the characteristics of Saiyans, especially the fact that Brawley will lose his mind when he gets up in the battle, which is not surprising. Conqueror's Haki condenses again and keeps falling. And this time, Brawley caught the trajectory of the 690 Conqueror's Haki knife during his ascension. With air wrapped in his fist, or simply using the shock wave directly, Brawley kept shooting into the air, all kinds of frenzied bombardments. The roar continued to explode. In addition to the eyes of the people in Pirate World, Brawley seemed to be fighting with the air. Moreover, it feels like there is no stopping at all. With the wounds that appeared on Brawley's body before, people like Weiss, Beerus, Goku, King Quan and the top powerhouses in other worlds all understand. Brawley caught Sha Xing's invisible attack and stopped it with continuous bombardment. And everyone looked back at Sha Shing, standing in a lazy figure, eating pineapple pie in his hand, not in a hurry, and leisurely. This difference makes the people on the list feel palpitation and shock. Is the gap between the first place Sha Shing and the second place Brawley that huge? Advertisement. The other people in the three worlds were even more amazed. This is too shocking. Yamamoto Motoyanagi, the guardian Shinigami of the Quiet Soul Garden, swallowed their throats wildly, and they were shocked. The battle between Sha Shing and Brawley simply made them subvert their cognition. The display of different power systems surprised them even more. Aizen Sosuke has already watched the ultimate seriously. Although the battle with Uchiha Madara was magnificent, there was actually a big gap between Brawley and Sha Xing's combat effectiveness. Their powerful moves can leave all kinds of destruction in the fighting space. At this time, Sha Xing's invisible attack and Brawley's air wave can cause meteorite-like damage with a single blow. In Naruto world, Uchiha Madara also feels the same way. What makes him even more frightening is that Sha Xing's unfathomable and Brawley's Vietnam War is getting stronger. It's really pervert. Uchiha Madara exhaled and looked in Obito's direction. Revolving heaven technique, we must prepare as soon as possible. Yes, winning the gold list rewards quickly becomes stronger, and has been ranked first in the hearts of Uchiha Madara. And the expressions of surprise and shock in the three worlds made everyone in Pirate World extremely proud. Doflamingo and other Shichibukai, Golden Lion Shiki and others laughed directly. See, this is the man we chose to form an alliance. Even among the four worlds, he is still so invincible and powerful. In the hearts of everyone, there is a sense of pride, the potential is the first, and the powerful Sha Shing is the undefeated god in their hearts. But the more I looked down, everyone found a clue. Brawley, the Vietnam War is getting stronger. From the beginning, he was hit by a knife, and then hurriedly bombarded, and now he can accurately capture Sha Xing's Haki knife falling and easily block it. Everyone in the Dragon Ball world and Sha Shing understand it. This is the Cha of the Saiyan bloodline, and it is also called the horror of the universe fighting nation. Coupled with the fourfold rewards Brawley received, the cultivation speed, comprehension, potential, and strength all have a tenfold bonus. Combined, the overall talent is even more incredible. In the battle, the stronger the battle, Sha Shing is not surprising at all. Brawley himself is a genius monster in battle, and with these tenfold bonuses, his momentum is constantly rising. Advertisement. The green flame is getting more and more terrifying. Gradually, I began to counterattack from the attack of Haki swords, and even learned the combination of light wave and combat body art, and easily destroyed a series of Haki swords. The roar continued. Only the space of the sky and the continent trembled, and the ground was full of numerous pits, and the debris on the ground floated with the aftermath of the two people's fighting aura. Hit. At this time, there was a fierce and excited voice accompanied by Brawley. A powerful fist fell on Sha Xing's Conqueror's Haki defensive cover. Boom. The defensive cover was actually beaten into only 10 centimeters. The air around the ground burst directly. It was like a terrifying explosion. Sha Shing also looked at Brawly's fist with some surprise, and bit down the pineapple pie in his hand. It deserves to be a real Super Saiyan who can only appear in 1,000 years. Sha Shing gave a faint smile, and couldn't help but praise the Saiyan's excellent fighting talent. At this time, even the appearance of the crowd turned to marvel at Brawly's terrible. At this point of combat talent, the stronger the Vietnam War, I really have to bow down to Brawly gone. Destroyer Beerus also smiled and said. As soon as these words were spoken, Weiss also looked at Beerus in amazement, and then expressed his approval. Being able to make the god of destruction Beerus say this kind of thing, it shows that Brawly's strength and talent are very pervert. People in other worlds were even more shocked than those in the Dragon Ball world. Watching Sha Shing suppress Brawly, even traumatized. Up to now, in the midst of roaring, Brawly's combat tactics and strength are constantly improving, becoming stronger, and even the defensive shield of Sha Shing, which is directly hit after a punch, shrinks. The second place is the second place. The potential list is really not just talking. To pervert, the strength shown by Brawly has completely surpassed twice the initial strength. If this continues, will the number 1 Sha Shing fail and be overtaken and lost? There are people in the 3 worlds discussing all kinds of shocks. Even in the pirate world, everyone's eyes are wrong. You idiots have what expressions, haven't you noticed that the White Lion hasn't made the second move differently? Chapter 198. Hundreds of kilometers pushed by conquerors abruptly. Advertisement. Marine Admiral 198 Chapter. Golden Lion Shiki looked at the stunned expressions of those guys below and couldn't help but cursed. Everyone also reacted. When dealing with Yim before, the White Lion was not only one move. This is only scared by Brawly Pervert's vigorous vigor. After being scolded by Golden Lion Shiki, he reacted and noticed the indifferent expression of Sha Shing. It's like playing. From all the worlds to the present, the evaluation of Brawly is getting higher and higher. I recognize the strength of the second place. For a while, Brawly took the limelight of Sha Shing with 1,000 moves. Even Beerus and others began to discuss. Broly is not an opponent of Sha Shing. At this time, King Quan didn't know when he sat on a luxurious throne, and he floated over to Beerus and said. Beerus shuddered and squatted down. He is playing. At this time, the whole king pulled out a smile from the corner of his mouth. Suddenly, the 2 priests, Weiss and Beerus, felt incredible. The whole king will show this kind of smile. It is at this time. During the battle between Sha Shing and Brawly, the violent Conqueror's Haki surged out, and the ground was overturned. This is the Momo Fruit ability, the impact of Conqueror's Haki under the effect of a 100-fold increase. At this time, Brawly was in a semi-sensible and semi-enthusiastic state, hitting the upper head, and his whole body was condensed in the fist of the arm, punching at the colorless and invisible Conqueror's Haki, trying to break it directly. Puff. There was a loud noise. Brawly's expression suddenly changed. As if hitting something indestructible, in the line of sight, his arm was directly fractured at a strange angle. The green flame of the whole body was directly extinguished, and the entire body of Conqueror's Haki of Sha Shing, including the face, was hit on Conqueror's Haki. Brawly's whole body flew upside down in an instant, vomiting blood, and his head was completely blank for a moment when he was hit by Conqueror's Haki. Advertisement. The invisible Conqueror's Haki hit the ground directly after it hit the ground in the inverted flight. In this way, he was directly impacted and went hundreds of kilometers away without stopping. Brawly yelled frantically. After the pain, his eyes were completely white. The green flames raged again, and a stronger chi burst out before finally smashing Sha Xing's Conqueror's Haki directly. Brawly's head was also closed, panting and standing with his arms drooping naturally hundreds of kilometers away. Everyone looked at Brawly's figure in surprise. He can still improve his strength. Where is his limit? This is too pervert, right? It improves again and again. People in the 4 worlds couldn't help but start discussing. But Beerus, Weiss and others, as well as Uchiha Madara, Aizen Sosuke, have been paying attention to Sha Shing. How strong is this Sha Shing now? Aizen Sosuke couldn't help but took a deep breath to balance and relax his shocked heart. Everyone has seen Brawly's pervert, but Brawly of pervert has always been crushed and beaten by Sha Shing. No matter how much Brawly will improve next time, at least it has been the same so far. And Beerus, Goku, Vegeta, Uchiha Madara, these people have been paying attention. Sha Shing, until now, have not moved a finger. Even everyone in One Piece world has noticed the horror of Sha Xing's Conqueror's Haki. Shiki, Doflamingo, Aokiji Kuzan, Garp and Sora all saw their jaws fall. I'm going. What kind of Conqueror's Haki is this? The cigar in Shiki's mouth fell on his clothes without knowing it. How the White Lion did it for a distance of hundreds of kilometers is too exaggerated. Zephyr couldn't help but exclaimed. This scene completely broke everyone's cognition and understanding of Conqueror's Haki. It covers a range of hundreds of kilometers, and it is so far away, and it can maintain such a high intensity. At this moment, everyone in the pirate world understood that the strength of the White Lion Sha Shing had reached an unimaginable and unprecedented terrifying reality. And this time, Brawly snarled again with his arms hanging down. The momentum of the whole body broke out, and it was even stronger. Advertisement. ... Flowers for 0. His eye pupils have become completely white, and there is only the desire to fight and defeat this Sha Shing in his head. The distance of 100 kilometers was below Brawly's speed, and it was approaching extremely fast. Raising his arm, the fracture healed automatically and he squeezed his fist. The unpretentious fist contains the power of absolute explosion. Brawly's re-attack made the unconscious breathing of everyone watching the battle soften, and they watched the next battle seriously. Sha Shing watched Brawly approaching quickly and couldn't help but shook her head. Really deserves to be the famous pervert genius in Dragon Ball. He has fought fiercely and improved so quickly. In terms of potential, Monkey King is indeed a lot behind him. 0. Sha Shing thought to herself, preparing to use some strength. After all, you can't keep raising Brawly's experience bar like this. Saiyan talent is very annoying. Boom, on Sha Xing's body, the golden Buddha phantom suddenly burst out. But this time he didn't use the knife again, a fist blessed by the fruit shaking ability, the golden Buddha shock wave, Conqueror's Haki, and the Momo fruit ability blessed faintly appeared. The powerful force even made the entire battle space tremble. Brawly roared even more when he saw this scene. Conqueror's Haki fist and Brawly's fist clashed together. Bang! The ground instantly shattered, the soil flew up, huge cracks split like a valley, and the lower rocky ground was blown out by huge force collisions. More than half of the place where the two were located instantly disappeared, as the ripples of water spread in all directions in an instant. The entire space was trembling violently, making spectators wonder if the space would collapse directly. Brawly's fist was completely resisted. Everyone was shocked by the increasingly fierce and frenzied battle between the two. That is a special space prepared for the battle on the potential gold list. Not only can the power system of the dimensional world be balanced, it is more stable than the normal world. But now, it was completely shaken by the battle between the two, as if it was about to collapse. Sha Shing, Brawly, the first and second places are too scary. 3. Chapter 199. Reward 10 times the strength, 160,000 attribute points. Advertisement. Chapter 199 of Marine Admiral. Both Aizen Sosuke and Uchiha Madara looked at their eyes throbbing. The two people fought there just now, and their powerful moves did not cause damage. They were not as exaggerated as Sha Shing and Brawly are now. The home of these two worlds. Uchiha Madara's face was very ugly and looked very solemn. Aizen Sosuke also looked unbelievable. Second place, first place, is the gap so big? Everyone can see how fierce the battle between these two people is compared to the previous Aizen Sosuke and Uchiha Madara. If this is in the outside world, the strength of the two people may be even more terrifying. Everyone in the other worlds watching the game was shocked, but more were in fear. Whether it is Yamamoto Motoinagi of Shinigami World, or 24/7, friend Yabok, or the Five Shadows of Naruto World, Uchiha Obito. Everyone understands that after the world merges, it will ultimately coexist, and at that time, it will be the beginning of all disputes. And now Sha Shing and Brawly's horrible combat power and potential can't help but make them a little frightened. In the field, Sha Shing also gradually lost patience. Brawly fisted against Conqueror's Haki. The body of the Saiyan is really terrifying. The two fists faced each other, the powerful force oscillated, and the fruit-shaking ability shook out dense cracks even in a special space. During the confrontation, Brawly roared even more violently, and the green flames rose to the sky, and his power soared. Brawly can actually increase his strength. At this time, everyone thought that Brawly was going to take advantage. Sha Xing's eyes condensed, and Conqueror's Haki glowed golden. Conqueror's Haki suddenly became stronger and stronger. Brawly's face changed drastically, and his opposing fist instantly retreated. He was directly defeated by Conqueror's Haki with an overwhelming impact. Advertisement. In the inverted flight, the 7 orifices overflowed with blood. One can imagine how terrifying impact Sha Xing's fierce Conqueror's Haki has. This time, he wasn't pushing the knocking Brawly on the ground to suppress it all the way, but directly hitting Brawly in the inverted flight into the air like a ball. Brawly tried to struggle, only to find that his body couldn't be more powerful in the suppression of Sha Shing. Sha Shing raised her head to look at Brawly, who was shot into the air with a smile on her mouth. Boom. Brawly was instantly dragged by a huge force, and smashed to the ground like a meteor. In the next moment, Brawly flew into the sky again. Extremely fast, it was like an invisible big hand pinched him in his hand, and he was completely uncontrolled and smashed again. Boom. The surface of the special space was smashed to pieces. Sha Shing still controlled Conqueror's Haki to smash and grab. The invisible Conqueror's Haki hand did not stop at all. Brawly lost all means of resistance and continued to suffer heavy losses. Those who watched the 4 worlds off the court looked completely silly. Uchiha Madara, Aizen Sosuke, Yabok, Yamamoto Motoinagi and Kurosaki Ichigo, each of the world's top people stood up straight in shock, looking at the projection screen in the sky in disbelief. Brawly, at least he is second. And he has been improving his strength since just now, which shocked everyone. It was not even Sha Xing's opponent, so it was so easy to get caught again. Live violently. What the hell is this Sha Shing? How can it be so powerful? Even Beerus was completely surprised and looked at it in disbelief. Unfathomable until now, totally incomprehensible. Weiss couldn't help but said, feeling a little trembling in his heart. Brawly's future picture has been seen before, and the strength that has erupted now is not bad. There was no way to fight back in front of Sha Shing, and didn't even move the whole time. Monkey King was trembling all over his body behind him, his eyes burning. Everyone in Pirate World looked at each other even more, swallowing their throats, a little embarrassed. White Lion, I haven't used my hands all the time, I haven't even moved my body, right? Newgate squeezed his hand tightly, and said with some tremor. Advertisement. Everyone was shocked and nodded slowly. Yes, even the position of the station has not changed. You must know that in the battle with Yimu not long ago, the big golden Buddha came to the world, and the 7 great abilities surrounded like planets. Obviously, this is just a random shot by Sha Shing. The entire Bidu space, with an area of hundreds of kilometers horizontally and vertically, is completely broken, and all kinds of bottomless pits spread out, and there is no end to the huge cracks. If you were to suffer this kind of battle in the outside world, the continent would have been broken and destroyed, the planet had exploded, and the space had collapsed. And Sha Shing calmly controlled Conqueror's Haki, completely suppressed Brawly, constantly beating variously, with cold eyes. Sha Shing, who was still in the special space, immediately pours out the terrifying Conqueror's Haki. Sha Shing wins the battle. Rewards. Strength, potential 0.3 power, cultivation speed, 10-fold increase in comprehension. Then the gold list also announced the reward, but Brawly didn't lose anything, he fought a game, a little dejected. There was only one thought left in Brawly's mind. Brawly, who had just recovered, suddenly looked horrified and assumed a defensive posture, but he was still lifted off by this unconscious explosion of Conqueror's Haki. This person is terrifying. Thank you for reading this story at hotmtnovel.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. The gold list announced the result. Brawly didn't even have a chance to transform into a Super Saiyan, completely collapsed. After standing up, the eyes looking at Sha Shing were even more terrifying. The entire special space violently vibrated and rumbling again. At the end of the match, Brawly was quickly restored by the power of the gold list, and his sanity began to return when he opened his eyes. Brawly vs Sha Shing wins. But Sha Shing doesn't catch any coldness in cultivation speed and savvy. These are of no use to him, but the strength is increased 10 times here. Sha Shing finally stopped, and threw Brawly, who was dazed and fainted, to the ground. The original attribute points of more than 10,000 instantly skyrocketed to as many as 160,000. Everyone knew that the winner would get the same reward as the other party, and they couldn't help but feel a little envious in the shock. After a long time, in the dumbfounded eyes of the spectators, finally, the voice of Jinbang resounded in the minds of all people in the world. Chapter 200. Monkey King also came to challenge the White Lion. Advertisement. Marine Admiral Chapter 200. Strength increased tenfold. The spectators in the 4 worlds off the court were all trembling. This performance of Sha Shing is a terrifying force that was suddenly uncontrollable after a tenfold increase. Frieza, Beerus, including Yabok, Kurosaki Ichigo and other people on the list directly cut off the challenge of Sha Shing for a battle. After the second-placed Brawly challenged him for a battle, everyone became more jealous. Even if it balances the disparity of the power system of the dimensional world in a special space, it is still not sure to win the battle with Sha Shing. In the space, Sha Xing's skyrocketing power was controlled and stabilized. Brawly finally stood up, his eyes throbbing, and looked at Sha Shing incredibly. He doesn't express much in words, only the fear in his eyes still remains. He knows that Sha Shing has never been true, showing his true strength to fight against him. But even if he was beaten like this, he couldn't fight back. Even in the previous battle, Sha Shing could completely kill himself. 28 people from the outside world. Both became silent, completely refreshing their knowledge of Sha Shing. The first place selected by the magic potential ranking is indeed well deserved. The potential ranks first, and the future integration of the world may be a major threat to all worlds. The red of Uhabok's eyes seemed to brighten even more. This kind of existence makes people jealous, feels terrible, and at the same time is the biggest threat to careerists in all the worlds. Even if it is the Shinigami Guardian team of Jingray Garden, the 5 big ninja village coalition forces, all have fears and concerns in their hearts. Such a powerful person does not want to be integrated by the dominant world in the world decisive battle a year later. He is the biggest threat. Unlike the other 3 worlds, everyone in Pirate World was extremely surprised and excited. At the World Fusion competition a year later, there is absolutely hope that one's own world can survive and become the master. How can this not make them excited? They have even begun to shout with excitement that Lord White Lion is invincible. At this moment, suddenly, the reminder of the gold list sounded again. Open black lens bracket compare against each other, Monkey King challenges Sha Shing. Closing parenthesis. Suddenly, people in all the worlds looked stunned, very surprised. Monkey King challenged Sha Shing at this time. The fierceness and strength of Sha Shing have been shown to be extremely terrifying, and now I still have the confidence to challenge. Advertisement. In the Dragon Ball world, Beerus, Vegeta reluctantly covered his face. On the one side, Wukong had just been promoted to Free Extreme Yigong, and he was immediately excited and couldn't help but challenge Sha Shing. Gearing up, Wukong's face has no color, it is full of fanatical fighting spirit. This is really Kakarot, Vegeta said with a wry smile. This guy just saw that Sha Shing didn't use his full strength, and he didn't think about it at all. This kind of power made him even more enthusiastic. This is the Saiyan you buried. Beerus slobbered again. Forget it, let's go if you want to fight, it's all challenged. Frieza saw that Monkey King actually challenged Sha Shing. I couldn't help laughing. Son Wukong, did you go up to deliver food? Frieza seemed to have seen the scene where Wukong was violently beaten by Sha Shing, and smiled. The third-placed Monkey King, where does he have the assurance and confidence? Uchiha Madara couldn't help but narrowed his eyes. The third-placed Monkey King is also very strong. Maybe he really has a chance to give it a try. He's a fighting freak, he. Yabok looked at Monkey King and understood that he was a fanatical fighter, and maybe Sha Shing could reveal more of his strength. All parties from all walks of life reacted differently and watched solemnly. Sha Shing froze for a moment and was speechless. He sighed as he looked at the scorching sun Wukong. Just hit a wave, this Kakarot is here again. Thinking about it, Sha Shing frowned and felt a little unhappy. If everyone came to challenge themselves, wouldn't it be annoying and simply accepted it? Defeating a brawly is not enough. It seems that the battle has to be solved directly and completely deterred everyone. Open black lens bracket. Sha Shing accepted the challenge and entered the fighting space after 10 minutes. Close black lens bracket. After Sha Shing accepted it, Jinbang lit up the reminder. Monkey King became even more enthusiastic and serious, and started to warm up with his hands and feet. Brawly was teleported back to Wampa Star, while Sha Shing was still in the special space. Advertisement. Looking at the space in front of me, the land quickly recovered, a magnificent and shocking scene. Sha Shing chuckled lightly. It is not surprising that the whole world is recovering the mighty power. When the attribute point is increased 10 times, he fully understands that only the system can change the attribute point. It's just that I don't quite understand why the system has to do this. Thinking about it, the world tea time has been restored, and 10 minutes will arrive soon. Monkey King was also sent in, and his strength was balanced by the power system in a special space. Then his eyes looked at Sha Shing, the battle intent was completely released, and the body increased its momentum crazily. Without words, Wukong started to explode with all his strength as soon as he came in. The hair was erected upside down and turned into golden yellow, and the flame on his body was also golden yellow rising and erupting, and it was constantly improving. The form of Super Saiyan 2 then glowed with sky blue light. Super Saiyan God form, full power on. 247. Sha Shing also watched with great interest. This is the first time that this realistic Saiyan transformation is. After Wukong turned on the ultra blue form, he didn't stop, his eyes were extremely solemn, and he was still improving his strength. After reaching the limit, Monkey King began to return to his original black hair, and his eyes and his whole body began to appear silvery white. This is freedom mastery, it's over. Sha Shing calmly watched that Monkey King had entered the state of extreme power and knew that he had reached the limit. This is my strongest state. You must be careful. Monkey King did not forget to remind him, and then his hands began to pose in a pose familiar to Sha Shing. Turtle Qigong wave starting pose. Powerful energy enough to cause space tremor was condensed from Wukong's hands. The light shone through the fingers between the palms. This is to use the strongest blow directly. Vegeta was most familiar with Monkey King's moves, and couldn't help feeling shocked. Beerus and Whis also looked at them with solemn eyes. People in other worlds also felt the terrifying blow that Monkey King had brewed. The whole battle world was shaking, except for Brawly and Sha Shing before. In addition to Sha Xing's tenfold increase in the tremor space, Monkey King has also achieved the strongest blow. Chapter 201. Even King Quan is not an opponent of Sha Shing. Advertisement. Marine Admiral 201 Chapter. In the state of being in a state of extreme power, Monkey King's expression became somber. The turtle wave Qigong in his hands continued to gather chi, and his aura was extremely strong. Even the restored ground is constantly cracking, and the space is shaking. The third place Monkey King is also not easy. This blow is enough to threaten Sha Shing. Uchiha Madara, Aizen Sosuke and others' eyes lit up. I have some expectations in my heart. I have to say that Sha Xing's invisible defense is extremely strong. Sun Wukong's plan is to condense Gibo Qigong with the chi in a state of complete victory, and to break it in one fell swoop. Maybe he can continue to hurt Sha Shing. The abacus is very good, but Sha Shing doesn't have the intention to play well anymore. Just when Monkey King was about to release Gibo Qigong, the golden light curtain instantly enveloped Monkey King. Conqueror's Haki has achieved unprecedented terror deterrence under the skyrocketing attribute points. Sha Shing was also afraid that the characters in the Dragon Ball universe were too strong and could not be suppressed at once, and almost released her deterrence with all her strength. Ever since, a scene where the god of destruction, Beerus, Angel Vis, Vegeta, and even the three worlds were astonished and sluggish appeared. Wukong's body was shocked, his eyes instantly became unbelievable. The Qigong wave dissipated, and then the silvery white state was lifted, his eyes turned white, and the feint of foaming at the mouth fell on the ground. Sun Wukong challenges Sha Shing, the winner, Sha Shing. Closing square bracket. Reward. 10 times the training speed and 10 times the bonus. As soon as Monkey King fainted, the potential gold list directly announced the result. Everyone looked at the sky in a daze, stunned. He is not. Yakushi Kabuto, who was beside Uchiha Madara and who was attached to second Mizukage, said it was unsatisfactory. Uchiha Madara's fingers shook slightly. In the Shinigami world, in the Invisible Empire, Yabok almost fell on the steps. A group of Star-Crossed Knights even had their mouths open, and had not yet reacted from this reversal. Aizen Sosuke and Espada, Yamamoto Motoyanagi and Shinigami of the Gote team were all stunned. Sun Wukong, isn't it the third potential? Why fainted and lost? Advertisement. On the other side, Beerus and Whis, Vegeta, and even the two priests around the king were shocked by this reversal. What's going on? Vegeta couldn't believe it, and Sun Wukong, who had fainted, asked Whis quickly. I don't understand that Wukong's strength is definitely not much worse than Broly right now, however. Whis and others did not know the so-called deterrent power of Conqueror's Haki, and they were also at a loss. People in all the world can see that Monkey King is definitely not far from Brawly. Especially the fierce blow that was about to be sent, but it was killed by Sha Shing before it was shot. That's right, what's the difference between this and Spike? The mental power of deterrence can be so strong. Beerus' eyes looked extremely solemn. Even Monkey King, a fellow who has already begun the path of God, can't resist. This is no longer as simple as a special space suppressing strength. Even in the real universe, Sha Xing's strength is enough to fight the destroy God level. Unfortunately, shocked, people in the three worlds are amazed, and the gap is too big. Only King Quan was still so calm. Everyone in Pirate World laughed, a little excited. This is the most basic usage of Conqueror's Haki, deterrence. At Conqueror's Haki, Sha Shing has reached invincible strength. And Wukong, who was shocked and dizzy, was awakened by Jin Bang and recovered after the battle was announced. Both Sha Shing and him teleported out. Monkey King returned to the Destroyer Star, facing the crowd with a somewhat stern expression on his face. I turned out to be so weak. But the fighting spirit has not been broken, and he is still high, thinking that it must be stronger next time. Kakarot, what the hell is going on? Vegeta couldn't bear it, and shouted while lifting Goku's collar. I don't know what's going on. I just wanted to use Qigong to break that invisible defensive cover. The unstoppable sense of oppression in my mind instantly made me lose consciousness. Wukong held his palms and said embarrassingly, "It is true that I have some regrets when I lose like this." Beerus and Weiss were silent. Advertisement. And Sha Shing, who returned to the world of pirates, looked at the world projection, and swept past everyone in the world projection somewhat coldly. Whoever you want to challenge me, just take advantage of it now. Don't waste my time. There was a hint of warning in his indifferent tone. Sha Shing is always challenged and temptation makes Sha Shing uncomfortable. If challenged at will, wouldn't it be like being treated as a weak chicken? Anyway, it is also the first place. Everyone who listened to Sha Xing's words looked at me and I looked at you, no one from the world came out to speak. Sha Shing is not easy to provoke, and even makes everyone extremely jealous. All parties were silent, and Monkey King walked directly in front of the king at this time. Quan Wong, why don't you go up and try how strong this guy is? Wukong, a guy who was only wise in battle, didn't know what Quan King was like, so he went straight up, and said a little bit eagerly. Son Wukong. Beerus was so frightened that he hurried to the king to explain that Wukong was a dazed boy. The whole king had a good eye for Monkey King, and he didn't blame it. Monkey King, that special space will also limit my strength, which is very uncomfortable. And I can't beat that person when I enter that space. Quan Wong didn't have any taboos, and said bluntly. In the 12 universes, the most noble and most powerful existence in the dimensional world said that even if they go to that world, they will be suppressed. Bai Li's. Even after I went, I was not an opponent of Sha Shing. Bai Lustin had a chill on his back and his face was incredible. Weiss couldn't help but open his eyes wide, revealing shock. Vegeta, even Frieza who heard this sentence on another planet couldn't believe it. The Lord of all things, the most powerful god even bluntly said that he is not an opponent, this is what a shock to them. Master Quan. In that case, unless the world is not suppressed after the fusion, isn't it that Sha Shing is invincible in the special battle space? Beerus and Weiss, and even the world kings and gods of the 7th universe distributed in the 4 major regions were shocked. Sha Shing glanced at the people like all kings of Dragon Ball world and smiled slightly. The idol Quan Wong admits that he is not his opponent in a special space. Sure enough, the existence of the system is higher than that of the whole king, I don't know how much. Chapter 202. Beerus crushes friend Yabok. Advertisement. Marine Admiral Chapter 202. The other people in Shinigami, Naruto, and Pirate World don't know what Quan Wong and others say mean, they are just full of fear of Sha Shing. After watching Sha Shing come out of the Bidu space, no one will challenge Sha Shing anymore. Instead, Uchiha Madara, Uchiha Yabok, Aizen Sosuke, Frieza and others pay attention to people in other worlds, and some are wary of each other's movements. When I scanned Sha Shing, I couldn't help but pause, as if I wanted to find something on Sha Shing. For a while, no one in the 4 worlds came out to challenge. Aizen Sosuke, Brawly, and Monkey King have all run out of challenges. Everyone also thought it was about to die. In the Dragon Ball world, Beerus slowed down and finally stood up. No one wants to make a move, so I'll give it a try. The god of destruction, Beerus, shook his tail and said with his hands behind his back. Monkey King and Vegeta both looked excited. The god of destruction is about to take action. And in the suppression space, it is likely to be a fierce battle. Even Frieza smiled darkly, calling a rare 250 in his heart. Subsequently, the sounds and fonts in the potential gold list resurfaced. Beerus challenges his friend Yabok. Close black lens bracket. In the Spirit Palace, it is time to experience the so-called tenfold comprehension. Suddenly the voice rang directly in his mind, and his pupils couldn't help but shrink. Beerus. The 9th guy challenges himself. Friends Yabok was startled. This Beerus seemed unusual in his world. Known as the god of destruction, and the 3rd and 8th in the same world respect him very much, even that Frieza is still very in awe, I am afraid it is a ruthless character. After some consideration, Yabok still chose to accept the challenge. Under the gaze of the 4 worlds, Yabok couldn't recognize it. Secondly, he also wanted to try the gods of other worlds, how powerful and terrifying means there are. 10 minutes to prepare for the state. Close black lens bracket. Everyone is energetic, and the war is about to begin again. The Guardian team Yamamoto Motoyanagi and the other Shinigami, Kurosaki Ichigo, and Aizen Sosuke of the Jingling Garden all had serious eyes. Yabok, the son of the Spirit King, has seen his omniscience and omnipotence in the future pictures. Advertisement. CIAD now being challenged, everyone wants to know the true strength of Ukabok. And Yamamoto Yuanian also wanted to see what happened to the friend Yabok who came out after 1,000 years after being sealed by himself. Even Sha Shing lay back at this time, eating food and watching the projection. The god of destruction fights the ancestor of the Quincy exterminator. This battle is interesting, the top of the two dimensions collide. With a smile, Sha Shing muttered to herself expectantly. If in the outside world, Beerus, the god of destruction, is naturally an almost invincible existence of terror. However, it is not so easy to fight with friends of Yabok in the system's Bidu space. When Golden Lion Shiki, Garp and others saw Sha Shing also paid attention to this battle, they couldn't help but watch it more seriously. 10 minutes is up. Wearing dark red clothes, the fierce faces of the friends Yabok and the god of destruction, Beerus, were teleported into the Bidu space. The magical power of a balanced world. Beerus looked at the palm of his hand in surprise, his body strength was balanced again, his strength was suppressed, and even his body was actively adjusting. Yabok's spirit body also turned into a normal flesh and blood body. It's really unaccustomed. Yabok condensed a lightsaber and said in his mouth. Fortunately, the power can be used normally, and there is no limit to these. And Beerus was only suppressed by his power, and there was no discomfort, no nonsense, and he immediately started to shoot and take the initiative. The body floated, and a flicker was behind Yabok in the blink of an eye, and he kicked out with his hands on his back. Yabok's eyes condensed, and his heart was shocked. The speed of Beerus, very fast. The spirit child formed under his feet, and Fei Lian avoided the past as soon as his feet turned. The next moment, Beerus' figure flickered again and continued to attack the past. In this way, the two guys actually fought into an old age frame. Without the earth-shaking power, they started to test each other. You chased me. It's really too cunning and pretending old foxes. They fight so hard. Sha Shing stared at it and shook her head. The battle between the two continued for a while. Advertisement. Beerus did not increase his speed or strength, and he was not so reckless against people in another world. And Yabok was more cautious in his heart. After seeing Beerus chasing like this many times, Yabok decided to fight. After seeing that the friend Yabok in front of him no longer used footwork to evade, but turned around, he was a little serious. Large sacred killer. Yabok turned around, Lingxi condensed an arrow above his head, and the cyan flame burned on its arrow. There was a sound of the canopy. The sacred arrow shot towards Beerus. Behind the sacred arrow, Yabok rushed to the past with a light sword of Lingxi in his hand. The scorching temperature faced Beerus's pavement, and a purple flame rose up. The terrifying momentum set off a huge air current impact. Beerus was expressionless, and slammed directly at the sacred arrow braving the cyan flame in the same place. Beerus smiled evilly, and the purple flames all over his body skyrocketed. Puff. Yabok, he is not his opponent, he is sure to win. And Beerus laughed after a face-to-face encounter. Yabok voluntarily surrendered. Close black lens bracket. Beerus's power is incredible, and the physical body is extremely powerful in a special space. The Lingxi's formation is completely vulnerable in front of him, and even the Lingxi flame is not a threat. The friend Yabok who was flying upside down knew that Beerus was completely above him, and immediately mobilized Lingxi's power to relieve his strength, ready to break out and reverse the situation with all his strength. Yabok's eyes changed drastically in an instant, and the Lingxi lightsaber in his hand shattered into pieces, and his figure kept retreating under the impact of his fist strength. Everyone was surprised to see that the ninth Beerus turned out to be so tough. The entire space began to tremble slightly, and the eruption was even more terrifying than Monkey King's aura. Immediately after this attack, Yabok knew what he knew, and he could not help but curse pervert in secret. When Beerus was about to launch an offensive, the gold list was bright. Thank you for reading this story at hotmtnovel.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Those with a lower ranking are not necessarily weak. Yabok's expression changed drastically, and he immediately made a decision. The cyan flame, the arrow was directly smashed by Beerus, and the fist kept colliding with his friend Yabok's spirit lightsaber. Chapter 203. Sha Shing has become the object of observation in the four worlds. Advertisement. Chapter 203 of Marine Admiral. Beerus won the game. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket reward. Tenfold increase in comprehension. Close black lens bracket. The sound and font of Jinbang are all revealed. The momentum that Beerus mentioned also stopped, and he looked at friends Yabok with a bored expression on his back. Yabok was expressionless and didn't feel much embarrassment, and then both of them were teleported out. Beerus, who returned to the destroyer, showed an expression of excitement. 10 times the comprehension is present, and even his own spiritual consciousness is clearly clearer. Coupled with the reduction in the difficulty of cultivation and the superposition of the two, Beerus is likely to be able to reach the level of Whis' strength in a short time, which is comparable to it. Beautiful. To know that Whis' strength is harder than the god-tier officer stronger than him. Whis and Monkey King all smiled happily. Frieza, who was watching the battle on another planet, spurned disdainfully. Yabok is too weak, so he dared to accept the challenge of Lord Beerus, the god of destruction. The people in other worlds who were watching the game were all taken aback, and they looked at each other and became solemn. Yabok surrendered directly. Yamamoto Motoyanagi knows the most about the son of the Spirit King, and he can let Yabok directly believe that he is not his opponent directly surrender. It can be seen how terrifying the pressure that Beerus put on him on the spot. Kurosaki Ichigo was very surprised, and even Aizen Sosuke who was opposite was thinking about it. It seems that Sha Shing is not necessarily the strongest. Seeing the momentum of Beerus, Uchiha Madara sighed. Everyone felt that the strongest person still had some suspense from this battle. This Beerus is likely to defeat the first place Sha Shing. Everyone in the pirate world couldn't help but feel tight, and the ninth Beerus was not weak at all. White Lion, are you sure to beat him? Shiki couldn't help but ask. If he thinks he can win, he just jumped out. Advertisement. Sha Shing smiled lightly, and did not answer directly. The good show of the duel didn't take place directly, and it wasn't enough to watch friends of Yabok against Beerus, the god of destruction. And after another big battle, everyone has a certain understanding of the 9 people on the list. Monkey King and Brawly are both in the same aura, and neither of them is Sha Xing's opponent. Uchiha Madara played against Aizen Sosuke, and Aizen Sosuke narrowly won. Yabok fought against Beerus, not Beerus's opponent at all. And from the perspective of combat, Beerus may compete with Sha Shing in strength. The remaining Frieza and Kurosaki Ichigo did not challenge to shoot. The strength of the 7 is roughly counted in everyone's minds, and neither of them has any plans to fight, but is ready to practice first. If it's me, I will challenge one of them to fight first. If I win, there will be rewards. I will practice first and take the lead. A year is very fast. Sha Shing shook her head, knowing that she hadn't had a good show. Frieza disappeared in the projection screen, obviously not planning to make a move. Kurosaki Ichigo also talked with Yamamoto Motoyanagi and others, and did not intend to continue to challenge. Stretching, Sha Shing decisively returned to White Lion Island first. Staring here, it's better to go back and play a game and lie down to sleep. As soon as Sha Shing left, Golden Lion Shiki and others naturally lost their interest, but they were still here to see if there were any changes. However, all parties have died down, but the picture of the world projection has not disappeared directly, and it has always existed. This makes it impossible for people in the 4 worlds to relax, and no one relaxes their vigilance. Fortunately, the projected picture does not project the whole world picture, just this place at the beginning. In the area of the White Lion Island, the Destruction Star, the ninjas are fighting against the desert of Madara. There is also the place where the Arankar army attacked the Shinigami world. Most people see this for the time being, and they just stayed behind to observe other worlds. People in One Piece world just didn't care about Sha Shing, so they didn't pay attention to people in other worlds. They focused on ending the endgame after the fall of the world government, or they practiced on their own. Time passed, and a surveillance scene was staged every day. Both Destroyer and White Lion Island are the focus of attention. Especially the White Lion Island, it is being watched by people from Naruto world, Shinigami world, and Dragon Ball world all the time. Especially Sha Xing's every move will cause a high degree of attention. Advertisement. Naruto world. Uchiha Madara continued to fight the 5 shadows after the end, plundering the tail beast. Please ask for flowers 0. The difference is that he is no longer ready to launch infinite Tsukuyomi. Instead, he used his Rinnegan on Obito to activate the revolving heaven technique to revive himself. Even if infinite Tsukuyomi succeeds, it is still unable to achieve a perfect peaceful world. There are too many strong players in the 3 worlds, and they are stronger. The most important thing at the moment is the World Fusion Competition, a 5-person team that will participate in the battle a year later. Uchiha Madara said like this, the method was much softer, stopped the war of the ninja world, and began to organize a team in the ninja world. Yamamoto Motoyanagi touched his beard and thought to himself, it seems that the 0 division must be the king of summoning. As long as Uchiha Madara completely becomes 10 tails Jinchuriki Ka and turns on infinite Tsukuyomi. Those things are not worth mentioning now, unless you want your world to be reduced to a vassal, and everything you are familiar with is vanished. Even Yamamoto Motoyanagi, the head of the Gote team, believed that this was not the time to continue internal fighting. The integration of the world, this is a matter of the whole world, the real time of survival. Aizen Sosuke's words made Yamamoto Motoyanagi also had to nod his head. It was a matter of life and death in the world. Thank you for reading this story at hotmtnovel.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. And in the Shinigami world, there is also a complete truce. The important thing now is to gain strength quickly and take the initiative in the competition a year later. Kurosaki Ichigo is also a bit conscientious, and things have reached such a severe test moment. Black Zetsu, who had planned for 1,000 years, was extremely speechless. People in other worlds are indeed too strong, especially on the side of Sha Shing. No one is sure to beat that pervert. The world is integrated, and there is no dominant party. I am afraid that many things will disappear. One more person has more power, and Yamamoto Yuanian feels that only by gaining the power of the Spirit King can there be a glimmer of hope in this world integration. The resurrected mother Otsutsuki Kagaya is clearly in sight, only one step away. After the battle, Aizen Sosuke directly persuaded Kurosaki Ichigo to go with him to find his friend Yabok, and discuss the next thing to face in the formation of 5 people to participate in the competition. 0. However, with the current situation and the grand plan of resurrection, you can only grit your teeth and persist in patience. Chapter 204. He really hasn't practiced before. Advertisement. Marine Admiral Chapter 204. The easiest place today is the Dragon Ball world. The whole king was even more excited after the incident. He hadn't encountered such interesting things since he had lived for hundreds of millions of years. It's completely beyond imagination. Next, I couldn't think of what would happen later, so I decided to organize all the powerhouses of the 12 universes to compete and decide 5 people to participate in the World Fusion competition. On Destroyer Star, the whole king said to everyone when he was about to leave. Plus 12 universes. Both Vegeta and Goku were taken aback. They didn't know this clearly, they were a little stunned for a while, and Beerus and Weiss nodded solemnly. After all, this is a battle in that special space, which will balance the dimensional power system. You, 2 or 5-0, prepare. Priests, God-tier officials, World King gods, gods of destruction can participate in the battle, and then I will simulate the battlefield of suppressing power. Because of the fun, the whole king didn't forget the last sentence, and then left with the 2 tall priests at super light speed. Wes and Beerus, who were stiff-faced, were left behind. For a long time, the 2 people looked at each other and let out a sigh of relief. God-tier can also participate in the war. Beerus couldn't help repeating it. The God-tier officer. If the whole king is the real manifestation of the will of the universe, then the God-tier officer is the most powerful and invincible existence in the universe. Even I am not as good as a God-tier officer. Fortunately, this time the great king will simulate the battlefield of suppressing strength. Weiss also shook his head helplessly. After that, Beerus also brought Monkey King and Vegeta to practice, to improve his strength as soon as possible, and face the next 2 competitions. At the same time, a series of things are going on in Pirate World. The world government system is doomed to fall after Im's death. Advertisement. Marine's position also began to be in an awkward position, and finally it was united by the White Lions Alliance to still carry out maritime security work. As for the White Lion Alliance not participating in the rule under the will of Sha Shing. The world government is also managed by a conference composed of allied nations, and the powerful revolutionary army of the Master also participates in it. They have a free mind, and they are determined to eliminate celestial dragons thoroughly, advocating direct punishment for guilt. Most countries support the revolutionary army and take the lead. So celestial dragons, which has ruled for more than 800 years, also ushered in the end. In addition to an uproar and shock, all this soon proceeded smoothly. The most important thing is that both the pirates and marines top masters are united at this time, preparing for the 5-man team to participate in the battle a year later. After all, this is still a major event that determines the fullness of the world. A group of top powerhouses gathered on White Lion Island to find Sha Shing merchants. Whitebeard Newgate, Golden Lion Shiki, Pluton Rayleigh, Garp, Sengoku, Kong, Redhead Shanks, Kaido, Big Mom, Red Earl Letterfield, Bullet, Sakazuki, Fujitora Smile, Kazaru Porosalino. One by one legendary characters, 4 emperors, Shichibukai, Marine 3 Admiral, etc., all high-strength combat power gathered into the villa of Sha Shing. At this time, Sha Shing was holding the handle in his hand, biting the pineapple pie in his mouth, lying halfway down, and having fun playing. Everyone looked at each other and smiled. Everyone understood the character of Sha Shing. It's so crowded. Sha Shing could sense the breath of everyone without turning his head, smiled, and didn't stop her hands. A group of people immediately asked Sha Shing to decide which 4 people to play. Playing. You can compete with each other for those 4 places, I'm lazy to pay attention. Sha Shing knew that he must be one of them, and didn't bother to care about the rest. Newgate looked at Shiki, Garp and others, and knew that Sha Shing would have this attitude, one word, lazy. So, everyone, I have a suggestion. Choosing the most suitable 4 people is not easy. Sengoku also made suggestions at this time. Sengoku, just say anything, we are now cooperating sincerely. Shiki bit the cigar, and handed one to Sha Shing. Sha Shing sniffed it and refused it. Advertisement. Since it concerns the entire world, then gather the strong from the entire world to compete for 4 places. But there is one thing. People with strength must participate in the competition. Sengoku's suggestions are also recognized by everyone, and as long as it is a person in this world, with top strength, you have to contribute to the world. As for this kind of compulsory Sha Shing, there is no objection, this kind of trivial matter allows them to do it themselves. Anyway, it seems that there is no pressure to wear 5 after 1 year. In this way, the 4 worlds are preparing for the World Fusion competition. Sleeping is natural sleep, no abnormalities, and sometimes even too lazy to move. It is getting stronger every day, but there is no abnormality, everything is normal. This is unbelievable. As soon as the news spread, everyone had to start to believe it more and was amazed in their hearts. Even in the Dragon Ball world, in addition to Bulma invented a smart monitor, even Wukong and his universe's great Realm King God are sent to pay special attention to Sha Xing's every move. At the same time, people from different worlds are also paying attention to each other. If Sha Shing knows these specifications, it might be a laugh. And just like this scene of the salted fish, people in the 3 worlds who monitored all discovered that the strength of Sha Shing is still getting stronger. Even looking at his appearance, it seems that after he has improved his comprehension, he is even better at playing games. Other worlds even sent someone to stare at the Sha Shing projected on the White Lion Island without gaps. So after monitoring for a month, the purpose of the 3 worlds is actually very simple. On the one hand, it is to pay attention to the actions of Sha Shing. On the other hand, it is also to see how Sha Shing is cultivated. Is it really as revealed by the potential gold list? 0.3 Lie down flat. Thank you for reading this story at hotmtnovel.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. The Shinigami world directly dispatched the Shinigami captain Kyoraku Shunsui and others. I really haven't practiced for a moment. No one thinks that their own world will finally merge into other worlds, and it is even possible that the creatures will dissipate directly. After the united front of Naruto world, under the arrangement of the five shadows, dozens of people such as Uzumaki Naruto, Uchiha Sasuke, Kakashi, Hinata, etc. became the people who focused on Sha Shing, guarding them in shifts around the clock. Sha Shing is still the focus of attention and has become their key surveillance object. However, it turns out that Sha Shing is just basking in the sun every day, either playing games in the lobby of the villa, or watching comics, eating, or watching TV shows. Chapter 205. Frieza's Platinum Form. Advertisement. Marine Admiral Chapter 205. There are people in the world of Naruto, Shinigami, and even Dragon Ball who are paying attention to their every move throughout the process. Sha Shing is clear about this, and the scorching eyes don't need to look up. But Sha Shing didn't care, she still lived her own salty fish life naturally. Of course Sha Shing has also become stronger, and it has become much stronger than they can find. After several consecutive days of signing in, Sha Shing found that the number of signings in Beishi Island every day had a fixed number of 100 points. No less, even Sha Shing suspected that the lowest point where he went to other places where he checked in was 100 points. And it has the tenfold effect of the potential gold list. Every day, the attribute points on one's body will be increased 10 times, at least 1000 attribute points. In this way, the strength will naturally increase every day, and it can even be said to be continuously increasing. And not only that, everyone will get a devil fruit ability reward every shortly. Slowly signed in. As the days passed, I didn't know how much I had gained, covering most of the fruit abilities of the Devil 28 Fruit Illustrated book. Eudemons, Logia, Paramesha. Even Xia Xing's body can feel moisturized and powerful to an unimaginable level. At this level, the potential strength of Sha Shing has also unknowingly increased a lot. And just like this, live peacefully. This day 1 month later. Frieza has exited on a certain planet. With the bonus, Frieza has truly entered the ultimate golden form in the future picture in a short period of time, and has a powerful force against the god of Saiyans. At this moment, he was overjoyed, and what he wanted most was to seek revenge on Monkey King. This time, I will defeat you thoroughly. Monkey King. Frieza laughed and sent a challenge request directly to the potential gold list in the sky. There are almost no gaps, and the gold list has once again shined. The font and sound appeared at the same time. Open black lens bracket compare against each other, Frieza challenges Monkey King. Close black lens bracket. The sudden picture once again attracted the attention of all people in the world. Frieza actually came out to challenge. Or the third Monkey King. Advertisement. Frieza. In Naruto world, the practicing Uchiha Madara opened and Rinnegan also looked over. This is a guy who has never fought before, and he still fights Monkey King. That Frieza, I am afraid that he is successful in cultivation, and he will directly challenge Monkey King when he comes up. Kurosaki Ichigo was together with Yamamoto Motoinagi and others, and it was also very tight when I saw it at this time. Only I have not come out to fight these perverts. I'm afraid this battle will be different. They are people in the same world, and the balance of dimensional power is not needed. I am afraid they will be truly complete strength fights. Yamamoto Genryu didn't look at the old man, he thought about this problem immediately. He immediately stood up and took everyone out to look towards the sky. Aizen Sosuke, Yabok, and other people on the list have all appeared to watch the game. Destroyer Planet. Wukong was training against Vegeta and couldn't help but stop. That fellow Frieza challenged himself. It just happens that after a month of training, you need to really practice. Frieza should have made progress to fight with me. Sun Wukong knew that Frieza would not challenge himself so easily, no matter how nervous he was. It showed that this battle was very interesting. Vis and Beerus heard the voice of the potential gold list and walked out to watch. In the world of pirates, Sha Shing was basking in the sun, just lying on the roof watching. Competition between grievances, Frieza and Monkey King, this is a big show. Sha Shing smiled, and she also had some guesses in her heart. Only a month later, Frieza took the challenge. This is the final form of Frieza, and he has improved a lot. Otherwise, how can you have the courage to challenge the Sun Wukong, who is free and minded? People from another world were fighting, and people like Whitebeard Newgate also came out one after another, looking serious. The special space projection in the sky also began to show up. Monkey King accepted the challenge, and 10 minutes later, the two of them entered the special space directly. People in the same world are fighting against each other, and the balance of the dimensional power system is not reflected, and the two will fight in a state close to their true strength. As predicted. Advertisement. The two people who entered didn't talk nonsense, and started a crazy gathering of chi. Frieza laughed, showing off the evolution of the golden form, and the whole body began to glow with golden luster, extremely mighty. And Wukong didn't care about it. He used his free extreme mind power, and a soft silver-white light emerged from his body. Although there is no dimensional power balance, there is still some suppression of power. Wukong was a little used to coming in for the second time, and Frieza had expected it earlier, and immediately the golden color of his whole body began to change, the platinum luster appeared, and there was even a diamond-like light flowing on his body. This is Frieza in platinum form. The terrifying aura of the two rose up, and the space began to tremble slightly. Those who watched the game from the outside didn't expect it to be such a horrible scene, and they were deeply shocked. Frieza really has great strength, and Monkey King is even stronger than before. However, people outside cannot perceive the specific breath, and the face of Monkey King who faces Frieza has changed drastically. Horror! Frieza's platinum form completely exceeded Goku's expectations. Frieza Lang 250 sneered sneer, and it was even more cold with the current platinum form. Afterwards, Wukong couldn't see his trajectory at all when he moved his body. And when Monkey King was able to see Frieza in his line of sight, he was already hit in the stomach by Frieza. Even Wukong, who was in the half form of self-care, couldn't resist at all. After being hit, he couldn't help but spit out blood with a painful expression on his face. After that, Frieza took full advantage, and it was all kinds of chaotic fists that violently beat Monkey King. In the form of Ji Yi Gong, Wukong can only occasionally resist and fight back, but it has no effect. After a while, the entire ground was smashed to pieces by Frieza's violent beating, and a shock wave at hand was a pit of thousands of meters. This Wukong was completely suppressed. Vegeta looked horrified. This month, Sun Wukong has made a lot of progress. It turned out to be like this. Frieza took the initiative in one encounter. Beerus and Whis were also a little surprised. Frieza is so powerful that even Goku is no longer an opponent. Even Sha Shing also saw some surprises. Platinum Frieza. Normally speaking, even the yellow and gold form is not the Wukong, who is not free and powerful. The other people in the four worlds were also shocked. Although Frieza in the world of Monkey King is ranked low, it is also such a powerful one.